2, 1. Good morning, YouTube. We are streaming simultaneously on TikTok and YouTube. Join me to have coffee and go on a further deep dive of this rabbit hole of La Gorita's house build, some additional things that we found over the weekend, some receipts that some of the besties emailed in, and maybe some follow-up to the marriage certificate. I have not yet heard back on the grandma request for the police report. We're also still waiting on that. But join me for coffee. If you're live on TikTok and you want to join me on YouTube, we are live over there, and we're going to have some receipts to start out. But first, let me wait for my coffee. Hello, Bianca. Buenos dias. Hi, everyone. Did you get some good rest so we can be sharp in class today? Bessie, you don't get tanned or sunburned? I burn like once a year. Hi, Mama Mariah. Buenos dias, bestie. Okay, so we're going to jump right into the house stuff, okay? And well, it's kind of in continuance of last week's topic that we were talking about the house, right? And so I wanted to show you one of the besties. As a recap, first, let me show you the house in question for those of you that maybe weren't here for that particular live. So we were able to find Candace's house. The White House, aka, is what we have nicknamed her house the White House. We found a location. I have a Google Map aerial image of her house in the green circle, and then the town is over the white lines. There was a bestie over the weekend that found some receipts that I wanted to show you. Okay, so just last year, in August of 2025, she made a vlog on her TikTok channel giving a house update. And somebody asked her, is your house going to be the largest one in the area? She responded and she said, nope, not even close. Then the viewer was like, dang, would you be able to show us some of the houses in your area? I'm curious. Candace responds and says, respectfully, no, it feels very much like an invasion of privacy for those in our town. Also, if you've seen any videos of us walking in town, each video is enclosed, so I would have to ask to enter. So when she answered this question, first, I want you to pay attention through the history of these receipts. She tends to answer the questions that she's defensive about, such as this one, such as him not having a criminal record, such as Diego being biologically his, etc. Okay, so when the viewer asked her, is your house going to be the largest one in the area? And Candace said, not even close. What she meant by not even close is that my house is not even close to the fucking town, bitch. When she said not even close, she meant my house is the only house in this bitch. Because look at the vicinity. There are no other houses around her area. None. Okay? None. Now, because of this comment, I feel compelled to show you what the houses look like in her area. And then I'm going to show you the virtual house tour that she has on her YouTube channel. Okay? So, again, pay attention to the way that she outwardly lies to her viewers through her content and through her comments. And I find it very interesting as I've been studying her content that she tends to respond to questions that she's particularly hiding something about. In this one, somebody asked, is your house going to be the largest one? We know that it is. She doesn't want people to know that. So she's like, no, not even close. Not even close. She made it sound like their house is much bigger than hers. So because of this, I do feel compelled to show you what the houses look like in her town. What the typical size is for houses near the town that she's building her house. And as you can see, her house is the only one in like the next 7 or 8 lots, if not more. She answers them strategically. She said, for the privacy of my town, it would feel invasive for me to show you what their houses look like, okay? But what she's trying to tell you is I don't want you to see that my house is indeed going to be the largest one, its placement, or see how humble people live in comparison to the house tour that I'm about to show you guys. So first, I want to show you a street view. And I'm going to do my best to conceal the name of the town, but I make no promises, Candace. I really just want to show the average size of people's homes because, again, she made it seem like, no, not even close. Like, there's people with much, much bigger houses, right? So, give me a street view. I'm going to have to email this to myself. Hold on. Copy. 2 seconds, besties. I wasn't quite prepared. Okay, 2 seconds while I get a little tour of the town and what their houses look like. And then we're going to watch her virtual house tour of what her house is going to look like. Come in. Oh, thank you, my love. And while we're waiting for that to send, I just switch to. Is it the town with the Carl's Jr. nearby? No, there's no. This town is 500 people big. Okay. There's 500 people that live in that little tiny town next to her big ass mansion. Promise you're not gonna find any Carl's Jr. or anything over there. I don't understand why she's lying knowing she'll be clocked by you. When she made these lies, she had no idea I would be clocking her like this. She lies on the presumption that nobody will question her. And up until me, nobody did. Nobody questioned any of this. None of it. None of it. And everybody just kind of took her word for it. Right? Hold on, guys. My macchiato is here. Ugh, I hate when they put tape over the... Sorry. But more than anything, aside like the size and all that, are you guys noticing the same trend that I'm noticing in the lies that she tells? Like she answers, when she answers certain questions and only certain questions, it's always the things that she's lying about. As if once people start questioning certain things, like, hey, is your house going to be the biggest one? And she's like, oh, no, in fact, not even close. But I can't show you other people's houses because that would be invading their privacy, right? And so it was like, oh, yeah, that makes sense, right? And then we move on. And then nobody questions again whether she has the biggest house in the area. When she feels attacked. I think it's when she feels like people are beginning to question her or might be feeding into a certain narrative. She doesn't want this house to ever be looked at as gentrification, modern day colonialism. That's why she doesn't tell you how small the town is. That's why she's never told you that the town only has a population of 500. That's why she's never told you that the land they're building in is Ejido Tierras. That's why she's never told you a lot of these specifics about the town or about the build, because she doesn't want there to be any room for people to look at it in the light that it belongs in. Okay, so before we take a house tour that she has shown us, I'm going to show you a walkthrough of that town on Google Earth. And okay, I'm gonna do my best to not go too close to her house and just take you through. Okay, let me think about this. That means up here, right here. Fuck. Hold on, that went way bigger than I wanted it to be. Way bigger than I wanted it to be. Hold on. Okay, you guys can see, yes? So now we're on a virtual tour of this little town. And I'm going to show you what a regular house looks like. Remember, according to her, she says that this is the one of the main roads. She says that her house is not even close to the largest one in her area. If you've seen the aerial view, you know that her house is located all on its own in the middle of a field. And start paying attention to some of these little buildings, these little houses. Most of them are 1 story. Okay, here you go. This is very common. That's the exterior. I want to see, hold on, I want to see what you guys are commenting on the side. There. She deleted a crap load of comments. Oh, I'm sure by now she has been cleaning and scrubbing her platform. Okay, guys, as you can see, it's pretty far. All right, so we're getting closer to town. Okay, we're getting closer to town. I want you to look at these buildings and look at the size of these homes when she says her house is nowhere near the biggest. Looks like that's a restaurant. Some crops. Should we keep going? There's like nothing. I feel like I'm not in the town yet. Hold on. I want to get exactly to the town. If you go to my YouTube channel, we have the... Let me go down the street real quick. Okay. Here you go. This is, like, we don't need to go through the entire town, but this is very much the size of her 1 garage, probably. This is one little house. As you can see, it's very humble, very small. Here's some more over here. Probably the size of her front room. Vamos al pueblo to see. And look. Very average to what the houses look like over there. Okay, so does it still look like her comment of her house is nowhere near the biggest one? I'll remind you what her house looks like. This is Candace's house. Right here. Right? This house is probably the size of her garage. Okay? Vamos a ver. So when she tells you that her house is nowhere near the biggest one, it's a lie. It's the biggest one probably in the next 3, 4, 5 towns, including hers. You got me intrigued in your content. I had to upgrade my subscription to listen to the Olga Chronicles. Those ones are next. Yes. Okay, so do we see what's going on here? Do we see what's going on here? Her house is huge, and this town nearby, the town that she lives on the outskirts of, they live very humbly. Like, look. Okay, so when she says, "Oh, not even close," no, she's a big liar. Her house is probably like the biggest building in this town is probably like El Municipio. Like, look, here's a 2-story house. But even then, look at the size of it. Right? You see? Even the houses that look like they have a little bit more money, like this one's a nice house from the front. It's 2 stories, but look at the size of it. They're small. Okay? Now, I want to take you to do a virtual tour of her house that she's shown us on YouTube. And something that caught my attention in one of her recent vlogs is that she's putting bathtubs in every single bathroom. I just want you guys to know that when I was building my house, I had the hardest time finding an affordable bathtub, which is why we built mine. Every bathtub, bathtubs are a luxury in Mexico, by the way. That's why most people don't have one. Bathtubs are a luxury. The cheapest one that I found when I was looking for a bathtub in Puerto Vallarta was 30,000 pesos each. Okay, each. So she mentions in her house tour, and I'm giving you a little bit of of a spoiler alert that she's putting a bathtub in every single home. All right, so we're going to go through a virtual house tour that she has shown us, that she has currently on her YouTube channel. So you guys can compare to the little house tour that we just took. The little tour we just took of the town.
So now that they're getting to the point where they're wrapping that up, you'll start to... And here it is. Here is the front view of our home.
All right. Can you guys see her house? I want you guys to have a real good look at this, because we're going to compare it to... Oh, come on, right here. Okay. All right. Compare that to... Oh, we left the town. We should have taken a screenshot of the other one. Well, you guys remember what the other little houses look like, okay? This is a front.
All of the rooms that we have inside the home. First, we'll give you a better look of the front porch and the front balcony.
Tell me that shit don't look like the White House.
Some amazing views both in front and behind this house, and we wanted to take full advantage of that. So now let's head inside. I'm going to take you over to the dining room area for...
All right, I don't really care to listen to her narrate this. So I want you to appreciate the size of this build in comparison to the town that we just walked through and the average size of the other homes, okay? It's got a huge first floor with big everything, okay? Like, she went big. And no hate to her, like, beautiful home you have built. But the misrepresentation is what, but I know you guys can't see. You guys have to go to my YouTube channel. The misrepresentation of the facts of this build, to me, are intriguing. One, let's talk about what are tierras ejidales, right? Tierras ejidales, which is what the land that she has built this house on, is pretty much indigenous land, comparable to a reservation where the land actually does not belong to an individual. You can't just sell it as you could regular real estate. It belongs to the community. It's for the use of the community, typically used to crop, typically used for agriculture purposes for that small town of 500 people. Now, a lot of you guys have said that the land belonged to his mom, and it's possible if she is una ejidataria, which is like a member of that community, typically indigenous. Now, people who build homes on these lands don't ever typically own the land. What they are able to receive, if it was done lawfully and correctly, and it's very uncommon for the sale of these terrenos to be done correctly, is you're able to obtain a certificate that gives you right to usage of the land, but you never actually own it. It still belongs to the community, and along with the rights of usage, it's typically a contract that you go into with that community and you tell them what you're going to be using the land for. If at any point you violate the terms of that, the community can start a legal process to get the land back. At any point, they can start the process to get that land back. So it's very probable that they don't actually own it, that they have a certificate. In the best case scenario, they have a certificate that gives them the right to usage, but you never own it. You don't really own it because es una tierra ejidataria. Now, it is possible that they can own it if the land has gone through a very long legal process to be turned into private property. I highly doubt that was done based on, one, the lack of resources for somebody in that town, two, the lack of education, and culturally, it's just very common that the way that these pieces of lands are sold are through those certificate of rights of usage. There was a few comments in my last video talking about, no, I'm doing it this way and we're going to get una constancia de no sé qué. It's very likely that the land doesn't actually belong to them. And it could actually belong to his mom, if that's the case. Now remember that this piece of land was a piece of the crops. If you remember, all of this used to be croplands, and we've shown some pictures of that. So it looks like they took a portion of those croplands and they used it to build the house. We would need to go to the public registry in that town to pull the records to see who actually owns it. It is possible. They are public records. But I suspect, I'm going to make a very educated guess here, that they don't actually own the land. They have a certificate of usage in a best case scenario. Okay, so I hope you guys are enjoying this virtual walkthrough. As you can see, it's huge. It's huge. In this video, she also mentions again that she's going to be putting bathtubs into, oh, here's a picture. Look, right here. I want to show you guys this. Ah, shit. Hold on. Fucking ads. Silicone, welcome to YouTube Baddies, bestie. Thank you so much for subscribing, and you're just in time for our giveaway tomorrow that I will be hosting for that tier. Stay tuned. Okay, so I want to show you the bathrooms. Let me tell you where the bathrooms caught my attention. Right here. Hold on. Hang tight, hang tight, hang tight. Oh, here's another exterior of the home. Beautiful home, by the way. I want you guys to see the bathtubs. Right here. I want you guys to take a look at this bathroom. Does this bathroom not remind you? This is identical to the bathrooms in the apartments in Utah that I have lived in for many years. The same layout, the same setup, the bath. She mentioned it's going to be a shower combo. Now, why did this catch my attention of the layout, that it just looks identical to a modern bathroom in the United States? Why would that be, class? Because for as much as she is putting out that she's building this modern house, or not modern, this house that's going to be like, what's the word? Integrating, right? Like they're assimilating. This is very much an American house layout. This house that's being built, they're adding little touches of Mexican tile, this and that, but it's engineered by an American. The layout is by an American. It's styled like an American. This is as much an American house. Hi, Bobby. Then I want to show you, that's pretty much it for the virtual house tour, okay? But I just, again, want to give you a visual when she tells you that, let me pull it up again, that her house is not the biggest house in the block. It's a straight lie. And the reason why she has supposedly not shown you guys other houses is because the privacy of the town, which I think we can all say that's a crock of shit. She has no care for privacy. if privacy was a thing, she wouldn't be vlogging all of the town events and holidays and all that shit, right? Let me go back to the town really quick. Let's go together if you're here. So I'm going back through the town to show you guys what a typical home looks like in this tiny town. Yeah, she wouldn't be vlogging in the school. If privacy was a thing, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be able to find where she fucking lives or do a little virtual tour of her town if privacy was a thing. What's going on today's episode? We are doing a deep dive on her home build and a comparison of her home, the size, to the tiny town she lives in. Specifically pointing out a comment she made that her house was not the biggest one in the area. Okay, so here you go. This is the street we're on. Okay. This is 1, 2, 3, 4 houses, right? And that's Candace's. Now, again, somebody specifically asked her if her house was going to be the largest one. She said, not even close. Not even close. So naturally, that intrigued followers that were like, oh, well, we want to see the other houses. And she was like, oh, no, respectfully, no. It very much feels like an invasion of privacy for those in our town. And if you've seen videos of us walking each town, each home is enclosed. So I would have to ask to enter. Does it still look like each house is enclosed, and like she would have to ask to enter their private property to show you what a typical house looks like in her area. Probably not, right? Like all it takes is her walking down the street and showing you some street views like this. She didn't want to show you guys. She didn't want to show you because she knew that you were onto her. She knew where this question would lead, that, oh, you're building the biggest one. And you have this tiny little town and they live very humbly and you don't. You are building a fucking replica of the White House, pretty much, in this town, in this indigenous town of 500 people. And that's what she doesn't want people to catch on to. There was another video that I watched over the weekend of a house update where they dropped off all the tile. I can't find it here off the top of my head, but they dropped off all the tile at once, and it was like this huge truckload of tile plus a bathtub. And that's where she said that, you know, she was going to be adding a bathtub into each bathroom. And that just caught my attention a lot because when I was building, tile is very expensive. Tile is very expensive. I actually had to buy my tile a little bit at a time. For her to be able to buy all of her tile at once tells you the amount of money feeding in through all of this. Okay? A big ass truck full of material. I don't know if I could find it here. Going to 5 months ago. Yeah. Anyway. A ton. Yeah. It wasn't donated. It wasn't donated. She mentions that the store donated or gifted her as part of her big purchase. They gifted her a toilet and a sink. But no, the tile, I would have a hard time believing that anybody would gift that amount of tile to anybody. Was it donated by the NBA? Okay, so as we're talking about the house, okay, do you see why she gatekeeps certain information? Has nothing to do with safety, has nothing to do with privacy, has everything to do with not wanting people to catch on to the fact that, one, that town is fucking tiny, has humble, limited resources, and she's building a fucking mansion on the outskirts of it by exploiting that tiny little town for content. Not only that it's being built on indigenous land that was originally meant for cropping for that town. In addition to lying, trying to make it seem like her house is not the biggest one, and it's not even close. There's bigger ones. There's no bigger houses in her area. The closest thing probably would be fucking warehouses, and probably not even the town square is as big as. Should we find the town square? Let me find it. Let me find the town square. You guys can compare it to the size of. I don't know if I'm going down the right way, but wait. Let me show you guys. Wow. You know, it's as big as I'm so sorry. Her house is probably the size of el municipal, okay? City Hall. Her house is about the size of fucking City Hall. Hold on. Okay, hold on. Let me have Candace's house in the front. Let me show you. Hold on. I just pulled up an image of the City Hall, and it says the biggest building, and I think her house might even be bigger, is gonna be fucking City Hall. Okay, so for reference, this is not one over you, Candace. Again, Candace's house, right? This is Candace's house. This is City Hall. They're about. Actually, Candace's house might still be. You see the difference? It's very, very similar. It's it's about the same size as City Hall. Yeah. Good for her, but is it good for the town? Because the narrative is always how much she does for the town. Now, compare it to what she does for the town. What does she do for the town? Allegedly make donations to a dog shelter and donations to the kindergarten. Okay? In exchange for what? Taking over croplands and building a house bigger than fucking City Hall? Or as equal to the size of City Hall? They're gonna think that her fucking house is el Palacio Municipal. So again, change this narrative of constantly glorifying her for she does so much. No, she doesn't. She gives that town peanuts in comparison to what she's taken from the town. Candace who? Candace Owens? I've had people tell me I'm Mexican Candace Owens. And I can't unsee it. Yeah, that is gross to me. I'm sorry. I don't like that. Hey, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Yeah, there's no, and none of these, I'm looking at the aerial view, there's no houses as big as her size at all, except for the City Hall building. That's crazy. That's fucking diabolical. Hey, can we see what you're showing? On YouTube, bestie. Hop over to YouTube. I have a relative that built a huge retirement home in Guadalajara, and the Pueblo was pissed. So she's going to pay higher taxes. We don't even know. So you're supposed to declare for property taxes to pay predial. But we have no idea of what the legality of that build is, if there's permits. Ask yourself why she's never done any videos on like showing you guys a process of obtaining permits, registering the land, paying taxes, buying the land. Ask yourself that. Why has she never done any videos or vlogs about any of the process of the build? The only thing she's ever shown you is the pretty things. It goes up, like it's gonna be this big. Look at this. Even that virtual tour was done by somebody named Brian. I'm assuming a friend or something in the United States. That wasn't done by a Mexican architect. Okay, so ask yourself, why has she never shared about what is it like to buy land here? What requirements do you need as a foreigner? What is it? How much property taxes are you gonna pay? You see what I'm saying? Girl's just mad because you can't be in her shoes. I wouldn't want to be in her shoes with an axe on my back with a house that big. I've been there. I've been there. It's not a pretty sight, okay? I promise you this is not about jealousy. I have a whole real estate portfolio, and I don't like to make this about who has more and who has less, because it's not about that, okay? But I have done well off, okay? Remember, I have sold my ass. So I'm well off. I'm okay. I'm in a beautiful home. It's not about that. There's a bigger picture to this. Here comes a big word. Sorry, I really didn't mean to read that one out loud. Yeah, so how do you guys feel about she does so much for her town now? I personally have always felt this way, but maybe now with some visuals, you guys can kind of start to weigh out. Does she do a lot for her town by donating to a little animal shelter that should be the size of town hall itself by now, and it isn't, and donating to the kindergarten that her kids go to? But what is she taking from the town in exchange? She's giving peanuts in comparison to what she's taking away. That house, I will give you guys a visual. Again, the placement of that house is being built on the outskirts of it. Hold on, I lost it. Right here. Even the placement, and the placing wouldn't be a big deal except for the history, okay? So her big old house is this over here in the green circle, and they'll go into town when they need supplies, when they need content, when they want to attend festivities, to take their kids to school. But for all other means, they will be isolated to this big ass white house away from the rest of the town. Is she really immersing herself? Is she really, trying to adapt, trying to bring herself into the culture with the way she's setting up her forever White House? You see what I'm saying? That house was, again, built by your tax dollars and the exploitation of those townspeople. That's what built that house. Oh, and your donations, because remember, her Cash App and Venmo was listed in the description of the majority of her videos until recently. She lives in Puebla. She's shared, and I haven't shared the name of her town to not make her uncomfortable or have this turned into she's doxing me, but it's not hard to find. Her town was found by a follower based off of the quinceañera video that she shared because they recognized the church. So again, it's really not that hard to find where people live, especially when they share so much about their life like this and they vlog absolutely everything. Think of the when she talks about safety, like you're giving people a virtual house tour of the house you're going to live in forever. That's isolated away from the town. That doesn't have. There's a lot of things that could go wrong there. Show us how far the distance is. It's right here. Do you see the screenshot? Her house. I guess I'd have to. I don't know exactly how many miles. Her house is in the green, and then the house is over by the white stripes. Yeah, the white line on the bottom is the town. I scrubbed out the white line at the top because it says the street name, but the town is located by the bottom white line, right here. And then this right here is her house. And that she had mentioned that's where she finds her clients is Upwork.com. And if that's correct, that's literally in line with what I do for work. And trust me, no MBAs are needed, and MBAs don't put you that much far ahead of anybody else on Upwork, in my personal experience. Someone said those are coke lines. Stop it! So my guess is I don't think she actually works. I think she just does social media. Mike. Okay, let me know if my mic is back. Yeah, my mic tapped out. Am I back? No se oye, can't hear. Now? Leave and come back. None? I can hear. Okay, so exit and come back. Exit and come back if you can't hear. I had to reconnect my mic. I know you guys can hear it because you're on YouTube or you're on TikTok. All right, let me go back to her YouTube channel. Exit and come back, you guys. If you're having issues with the sound, I had to unplug my mic and plug it back in. Mic. Had to exit. No issues here. Okay, yeah. You guys, it's day one of my kids home from school and I'm not doing well. Hold on, you guys. Let me go lay down the law. Can you guys also join Race Club on YouTube? Yeah, you can join memberships on YouTube for sure. I should post a link. Let me try to post a link really quick on my. Hold on, okay. New here. Hi, Vicky. Welcome. Copy link. Okay, to join memberships. Okay, are you guys okay? Whoa, there's 600 of you in here. Hello. Can someone tell why she's obsessed with La Güera? We are, look, one thing I will always be obsessed about, getting paid. I'm obsessed with getting paid, okay? I like getting paid. But I am very invested into the real story. We 600 here on YouTube and 500 on TikTok are invested into the real story behind this creator that has monetized and exploited our entire community, both virtually and in person. A very small, humble, vulnerable town. Modern day colonialism. That's why we're obsessed, okay? At this point, I'm not even fighting that she's obsessed. Okay, yes, I'm obsessed. I enjoy this. I really do. I want to get to the bottom of it. We're invested. Obsessed and invested can be defined as two separate things, but whichever one you want to run with, we're okay with. Oh, can someone tell people why people are more upset with the truth than La Güerita who lied? Honestly, I have been asking that since day one. Okay, since day one, I have been asking, how the fuck is it that people are more mad at the fact that I'm telling, like, that I'm exposing the truth than what is being exposed? Here, look, I'm so done with YouTube. No, here, let me. Now, okay, sound check me one more time. Okay, I just reset my mic, so hopefully that's good. Okay, we're back. Oh, somebody had asked me, here, let me pin this. There. Okay. So for those of you that would like to join our memberships, I have pinned the comment and the link to my membership page. You're a bit delayed on YouTube. The land belongs to Fidelity's mom. I suspect it doesn't. That's been something that they threw out there, but also remember how many lies these people have put out there for the sake of not making it sound bad. I suspect the land is not even owned by his mom. I suspect it's legit tierras ejidatarias. Okay? Remember statements like this when you are like, oh, but she told us this at the beginning. It's probably a crock of shit. It's probably a crock of shit to downplay it and to make it less like they're not taking from the town. Just remember stuff like this. Remember my husband has no criminal record. All the lies, the straight up lies. Remember that my husband has no ban. If you notice her history, she responds to things that she's trying to safeguard. Ruby, thank you so much for upgrading to YouTube Baddies. You are just in time for tomorrow's giveaway. Love it. If they had so much land in Fidel would have just stayed in Mexico and never traveled to the US. Not necessarily. YouTube baddies. I'm seeing so many YouTube baddies. Good morning. Welcome. So excited for you guys to join this giveaway that we're going to host tomorrow. So stay tuned. For those of you that are joining the baddies tier, I'm going to be giving a Starbucks set away tomorrow, and we're going to announce tomorrow. Are you ever going to try to tell people who accuse Carlos? No, Carlos is episode 1. We're done with Carlos. Honestly, I'm not that interested in Carlos. Carlos was like small fish. And originally it was going to start with her, but we got sidetracked by Carlos. Moonchild, welcome to YouTube Besties. Thank you so much for joining, and I hope you enjoy all of the stickers, badges, and perks that you'll be receiving behind the scenes. Thank you to all of you guys that are upgrading. Also, please make sure you give a thumbs up to the live. Yeah, we're kind of new on YouTube, so I always forget to remind people. Yeah, Carlos is episode 1. I really have no interest in his story much as I have hers. Why do I have such an interest in her story? Because hers is huge. The amount, how far she's been able to get because nobody has questioned her until I came along, is fascinating to me. Breaking down things like these that you see on the screen, fascinating. I'm a huge fan of getting to the bottom of things. I like researching. I have enjoyed the challenge of finding records and seeing you guys go look. So this entire thing feels like a case study to me. Mosos Treats by Letty. Welcome to YouTube Baddies. Thank you so much for joining. Maricela, welcome to YouTube Baddies. This is so exciting seeing you guys, so many of you join. I feel like we're finally moving our TikTok numbers to YouTube, and that's really exciting for me. So thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoy the badges. I'm going to be working on some new stickers this week for you guys. Candace is probably building an LDS community. Okay, can we now, look, can we now go to the Thanksgiving shout out they gave her? Because I was never a fan. When I saw her Thanksgiving fucking article, if it wasn't bad enough, this woman is building this White House in the middle of this tiny town. How do you think they feel about the Friendsgiving in this tiny little town? That got blasted all over the news. Linda Diaz, welcome to YouTube Besties. Thank you so much for subscribing to our memberships. I hope you enjoy the badges and stickers and all the neat perks you'll get behind the scenes. Yes, I want to pull up the news article of her Friendsgiving really quick. Come on, Candace. I know she shared a news article. More members. Welcome, besties. Welcome, Jessica, to YouTube Besties. Alera Mires, welcome. Elva, welcome. It's so exciting seeing so many of you guys join memberships. I don't think we've ever had so many jump into the live and join at the same time, so thank you. Okay, I want to find the news article that ran her stuff about Friendsgiving. Was it CNN? A ver. No. Welcome to YouTube Besties, Mar SFRR. A ver. Can anybody help me find it? I know she probably had it linked somewhere, didn't she? You guys know which one I'm talking about, but I really want to show. I want to show the Friendsgiving article. Why did that Friendsgiving article, por qué me llamó la atención? Irma, welcome to YouTube Besties. Thank you so much for joining. All of you that are joining and are new, let me give you a quick recap of the benefits. You will receive access to all my replays. So if you ever miss a live on TikTok or YouTube, you'll have it here for replay for members only. You'll get access to badges, stickers during the live, special shout outs, monthly giveaways, and exclusive member only content. Those of you still struggling that cannot hear, log out and return. It's called refreshing. Oh, I hope it's not lagging still.
Do you want to come play over here?
Can anybody help me? Analia Basti. Can you go to her LinkedIn and find the link to the Thanksgiving article that the news station ran on him? Portuguese. You could tell. I don't like the recent video of her making Peter wear bunny ears and making fun of him by telling him that she likes ears. Oh, I haven't seen that one. Honestly, you can tell her husband's uncomfortable in all the videos. He's not much for the camera, okay? You can tell he's just not there. And I also bought a terreno for Fida's business from another she posted. Oh, link me. If you guys find any videos that could help with these investigations, feel free to email them to me. It's a lot of content for me to watch on my own, but there's been some of you that have been finding bits and pieces outside and then send it to me, and then we talk about it on the next live. So if you find videos of her talking about buying land, this or that, send it to me, and then let's pick it apart and see if we find any clues. No update on the police report. Just as of last week, they told me they would need an additional 5 days, right? So probably towards the end of this week, maybe. Friendsgiving. Okay, let me see. They posted it last year, right? So let's do newest. Oh, no. Latest. No, not that one, bestie. So she shared an article. They did an actual article. Yeah, the article, bestie. The one that the news station ran on her. I'm trying to see if Sunday. She would have been last year somewhere. Annie's. Lisa, thank you so much for the gifts. Laura, welcome to YouTube, besties. Welcome to all of you joining. I hope you enjoy your badges. Make sure you check out your badges and your stickers. I've read Building Out Forever Home, Gingerbread Houses. And so it was CNN. CNN is the one that did the story on them. Laura, welcome to YouTube, besties. Thank you so much for joining our memberships. Friendsgiving. I want to say that it would have been posted. Unseen CNN footage.
Hello from Mexico and welcome back to our channel and back to Vlogmas. So today marks 9 years since we moved our family to Mexico after...
Yeah, I'm trying to find...
Here in Mexico, and how do you feel here?
I feel happy here. Like I said, I have an amazing community here. Everybody is really, really nice to me, and
Is this it? Okay, let me look. Okay, I think we got the
Este
article.
pequeño pueblo en una zona rural del centro de México es común.
Okay, here's a news article. I'm gonna show you real quick. Okay, right here. CNN did a story
Que
on
los
her.
hombres emigren a Estados Unidos, pero esta comunidad nunca había visto que una mujer de Estados Unidos emigrara a México para así seguir construyendo su vida junto al hombre que ama.
I want to stop right there, CNN. Did you hear what they said? We have never seen an American woman move to Mexico to whatever. You mean to tell me, CNN, that Candace is the first white American to move to Mexico, to migrate to Mexico? Are you shitting me right now? No, she's not the first. She's not the first. She's the first to be glamorized and glorified and put on a pedestal, but she is definitely not the first.
A quien habían deportado.
So we are currently at our forever home build here in Mexico.
Candice llegó aquí a 224 kilómetros de la capital mexicana con su primer hijo y sus maletas hace 9 años. Ahora, frente a las deportaciones de las políticas del presidente de Estados Unidos, Donald Trump, ayuda por medio de sus redes sociales a otros estadounidenses a emigrar a México y evitar que sus familias sean separadas. Una decisión que sabe no es fácil.
For the 5 years that we've been on social media, not just TikTok, but on all of our platforms, we've offered an email for those that are in similar situations. Soon as the new administration started, the emails jumped to, I would say I got, in those first couple of weeks, I got probably 500 or so each week.
Fue así como conoció a Brenda, quien cuenta con la ciudadanía estadounidense y mexicana. Ella pidió que protegiéramos su identidad por temor a represalias de autoridades inmigratorias de Estados Unidos. Brenda dice que sin la ayuda de Candice no estaría viviendo en México. Decidió cruzarse la frontera en 2021 para estar al lado de su esposo, a quien, según ella, se le negó una petición migratoria en Estados Unidos.
So another American citizen that connected with Candace and moved things to Candace is being featured in this article. Notice, 2 American white women are the focus of this article. Days, thank you so much for upgrading your membership to YouTube, baddies.
Y que, tras salir por una emergencia familiar, ya no pudo volver.
And I did let her know that I was looking for a remote position so I could be able to stay longer periods of time in Mexico. So she was able to help me with my resume and eventually recommend me to the job that I have now.
Nosotros tratamos de desengranados para poder fumigarlo.
Fidel trabaja la tierra como dice que lo aprendió a hacer a los 6 años con su padre. A los 17 emigró a Estados Unidos. Su trabajo en la construcción lo llevó a viajar por varios estados del oeste de ese país.
This isn't the Thanksgiving one, though. I want the Thanksgiving article. We need a Thanksgiving one. Hold on. I'm looking specifically for the Thanksgiving one. A ver. No, I'm gonna have to go to her page. Okay, Anelia, if you go to her page and then click on her LinkedIn, she links a bunch of interviews and articles. She linked the one of Thanksgiving, which is the one I'm trying to get a hold of. Why didn't they speak Spanish if they migrated? She's the wife of Horacio from Guanajuato. I don't know who that is, honestly, but I will say, maybe here. Let's watch this one. I'm looking for Thanksgiving. Michelle, welcome to YouTube Besties.
El balance perfecto es salir a comernos el mundo, pero siempre divirtiéndonos. Porque divertirse es como las Oreo, un delicioso balance entre vainilla y chocolate y entre vivir rompiendo la rutina. Oreo, sigamos divirtiéndonos.
I had a newborn last year. He was about 3 weeks, so we didn't do it last year. But every year, other than that, we've done it, I believe. I think for us, it's...
How long have you been doing this Friendsgiving celebration?
Okay, right here. This is good enough. Okay, so last year she was featured on a news article glorifying the fact that she has brought Thanksgiving to this tiny little town of 500 people. Okay, and when they ran that article, it rubbed me the wrong way for a lot of reasons. A lot of reasons that I'll put to the side, but the main one is, why are we glorifying bringing down holidays that are actually celebrating the slaughter of indigenous people in the United States, and why are we bringing that to Mexico? We don't celebrate that here. You will see it celebrated in port towns like Vallarta. You'll see some stores sell turkey, but Thanksgiving is not Mexican. Okay, Thanksgiving is not Mexican. So when people constantly like glorify her for, she's doing this, she's adapting to the culture, this shit is disgusting. To bring Thanksgiving down here, to start making it an annual thing, a colonizer holiday in the middle of a tiny indigenous town, is disgusting. And the fact that anybody would run and they were American news reporters, if I remember correctly. It was the CNN that did this story of, wow, how amazing, the supported white woman that moved down here to be with her husband is now bringing down an American holiday, colonizer holiday by the way, to her white big ass mansion. Does anybody else see where I'm going with this? So let's listen to what she said.
So we have been on social media for 6 years, and we've been doing this basically for 6 years. I think we had last year we didn't do it because I had a newborn last year. He was about 3 weeks, so we didn't do it last year. But every year, other than that, we've done it, I believe. I think for us, it's a day that we all get together and and we get a chance to feel like we're all with family, and we're all just really grateful for the lives that we have here, right? So even though we left our old lives behind, we're just really grateful for the lives and the families that we've created here.
Because Fidel was deported right around the same time as me.
Oh, this is carne asada and onions. This is sister. This is illegal immigrants. This is broken English. This is carne asada and onion. This is, I know he looks like just another this right here. It's important for me to tell you who these people are because it hits different once you hear these fucking interviews.
My wedding, And so to have Candace and Diego at my wedding and not Fidel was really hard, and just to see what they were all going through.
I want to pause. I want you to notice how this fucking video focuses on how badly it's affecting American citizens. Her sister just got on here crying, or Candace just got on here crying. Now the sister's on here crying about how hard deportation is for them. Do you see what's wrong with this? That they're focusing on the impacts of deportation on American citizens. Why aren't you interviewing Mexicans that are living through deportation firsthand? Why does this woman have a spotlight on this article? Why is she crying about how hard it was for Fidel didn't make it to my wedding and he didn't bring the carne asada and onions is what she meant. This is the same bitch Baidu that wrote that. I know he looks like just another legal immigrant. His broken English, she's a fucking Trumper. Look, her letter was written like a Trumper. I can't tell you who she voted for. I haven't looked it up. But those character letters gave away so many clues that they were very much consuming the Trump tea in 2016. Okay, so the fact that these articles, and it's the same thing Candace has done with her channel for years, is she focuses, they appropriate our trauma so bad it's fucking annoying. Like, let me get on here and cry in front of CNN and talk about how hard it was that my sister's boyfriend's husband's baby daddy was deported. Ew! Get Fidel on there. Get a Mexican on there. Get somebody on there that actually, that can't go back and forth. Like, these are bitches that are coming back and forth, crossing the border freely. It's talking about how hard it has been on them to celebrate Thanksgiving in the White House now. Get the fuck out of here. Ew.
It was rough, so like for her to land and for them to be together, it was just like we're in a place where they felt safe. It was relief, a lot of relief. Yeah.
The sweet potatoes?
Do you have like an advice or a kind of a message for them to deal with these difficult times?
Not the broken English from the reporter.
I would say.
Hey, who's this?
At first it can be a little bit.
Who's this? He just asked, what advice would you give to someone? This is another white American lady. Okay, another American citizen telling people how they should cope with deportation.
You're learning a new culture, new traditions. So at first it can be maybe a little overwhelming, but if you stick with it, it's really rewarding. I now have a very large community of people that are very supportive. We're the community where I live. They're very, very supportive. So I would just...
Is this La Mamá de los Güeros? I particularly wanted to highlight the story of Beth, La Mamá de los Güeros. Another, why is it titled La Mamá de los Güeros? The branding of these channels are it for me. La Güerita 70, La Mamá de los Güeros. Why are we constantly highlighting güeros? Why are we constantly highlighting the whiteness in these channels? Why? Why?
I stick with it. And it's the life here, I think, is so much more relaxing and rewarding. And amazing, especially after everything that we've been through. For me, it's hard to have, my family not close because I have nieces and nephews. And of course, I'd love to be able to spend on both my husband's side and my side. And I'd love to be able to spend more time with them. But, we have a very good life here. So.
Of course you do. Of course you do. You're pulling PPP loans to build houses on indigenous land for the cheap, for the lolo. Of course you have a really good life here. Yeah.
We all get to be one big family, and we're watching each other's kids grow up, and I think
it's the fucking stovetop in the back for me. I can't stand you bitches. It's a fucking stovetop turkey stuffing in the back as we're highlighting a video in Mexico. I'm done with you bitches.
We never want anybody to be in any of our family situations. We don't ever want anybody to go through it.
Are you sure? Because 2012 court records said otherwise, Candelaria. 2012 court records said you co-signed his first deportation.
We don't want anybody's kids to go through it, but it is comforting and nice to have each other, knowing that we all can understand each other and our kids can kind of understand. They're with kids that have been through similar things as them, and I think that for us is a form of healing.
I'd like to know how people is treating you here in Mexico, and how do you feel here?
I feel happy here. Like I said, I have an amazing community here. Everybody is really, really nice to me, and I love the community that I live in because they pretty much all adopted me. And at a time where I was having a lot of problems, like with my country, when my husband couldn't go back, my community was like, it's all right, we have you. And they started teaching me their traditions, their ways of life. So it was really nice to have.
Native Rain, Bessie, thank you so much. She just sent a super thanks with stovetop and hot dog water.
To have that community. Or to have that community.
And how often do you visit?
Ooh, Native Rain, thank you for reminding me. I'm bringing in your news clips next.
I don't visit the USA very often because it can be very, very expensive, and I have 4 kids, and so I don't get to visit very often. However, my family usually comes once a year to visit me. So I did go about a month ago, but I had a family emergency. But for the most part, I don't get to visit very often.
Ay, tranquila.
Okay, that's enough. Okay, this entire news article just focuses on white women tears. How hard deportation must be on white women tears. And when I'm trying to express to you guys why her story is so why it outrages me a lot of the times when I'm watching these fucking videos is her platform focuses so much on giving a spotlight to how hard deportation is on white privileged women, privileged American citizens. How hard it is for them to be able to travel back and forth. How hard it is for them to be able to pull PPP loans and build a fucking White House in the middle of a 500 person town place, you know? Her constant focusing, even the best friend got a fucking interview on how hard her husband's deportation was on her best friend that worked at a call center with her in fucking Utah. Her channel focuses primarily on how hard deportation is on white people. White people. The same people that machine these policies. The same people that machine these policies are now getting up here and monetizing off of how hard it is for them. Do y'all see the fucking, like, are you shit? Why isn't Fidel in the, like, Fidel don't even get a fucking 2 seconds in this interview? Not a single Mexican person is spotlighted in these interviews. It's always Candace and her family. The donkey is the only indigenous, the donkey is the only Mexican airtime in this fucking interview. Dare you, like, do you, even the donkey is like, bitch, what the fuck? These interviews should not be going to white privileged American citizens. I'm sorry, they shouldn't. Because even Mexican American citizens would have a bigger leg to stand on in these interviews, okay? But white American privileged citizens have no place getting on fucking national news interviews and crying about how hard deportation is for them. Shut the front door. Especially, oh, let me stop there. Oh, it's a macchiato. But it's not just CNN's fault, okay? Notice how much space Candace willingly takes, and I'm not just talking about the physical space of her house. She asks herself why she's allowed to take up so much space in this niche. Her and her sister and all her privileged American citizen friends, why are they allowed to take up this much space and drown out the voices of Mexican nationals that actually are impacted firsthand? Why doesn't she ever use her channel? Come in.
Did you order water?
No.
That's it?
No, but let's take some.
Yeah.
Why doesn't she ever give Fidel any airtime about the effects of how he lived his deportation story? You see what I'm saying? She gives him airtime for fucking teeth, the new grill video. You know, she did a 3-year journey for him of getting new teeth. Why doesn't she ever give him airtime on how hard deportation was for him? No. Instead, she's going to focus on how hard deportation has been on her and her white family. You see what I'm saying? Donkey looks like he has a lot of things to say. If walls could talk, if the animals could talk. Oh, if Fidel ain't crying about a damn thing. If you put Fidel on these interviews, he'll be like, my, me ha ido bien. Fidel ain't gonna cry about nothing. He's gonna tell you what a smooth ride he had. And here's the thing, even Fidel wouldn't be able to accurately tell you a story of what deportation is realistically like. Because Fidel's experience with deportation was privileged by the sole fact is he has an American wife that safeguarded his landing. So he never experienced what it was to, what am I going to do for work? He never experienced homelessness. He never experienced having to start from the ground up on his own with no connections to the U.S., right? So even Fidel couldn't get on here and tell you accurately how hard it was to go through A, B, C, and D, because he didn't go through it because of his privilege to have an American spouse that cushioned his landing. So if you get Fidel in these interviews, what's he going to tell you? Well, my, look at our mansion. You know, it's been nice. I hit the lottery. I got me a white girl, brought her back, and she's been paying for this house. I don't have to work. I don't got to worry about how I'm going to feed. I don't got to worry about nothing. Because he hit the jackpot. He may not have gotten papers like he wanted to. But what did he get? A cash cow. Yeah. Yeah, well, he's locked in. What displacement did he experience? Most of the deported men don't go through it because a lot of girls make their husbands are good out there. Maybe yes. So, but you know what? Even then, I feel like he could still take up more space than she does. You could talk about what your experience was like with ICE. You could talk about a lot of things. But we're only going to focus on this big, beautiful White House, the big, beautiful bill. The big, beautiful bill that Candace is about to pay. Okay. I gotta go pee. Fidel said, fuck them papers, let me get this and that. Yeah, because their house, y'all. What Mexican from a tiny little town like that do you know that would be able to pull off a build like this without an American wife? Bringing in those PPP loans, bringing in those Cash App and Venmo's donations, bringing in that YouTube money, bringing in that TikTok money, bringing in that NBA money. You know what I'm saying? What person from that little town do you think would ever be able to have something like this in that tiny little town? This American home, smack dab in the middle of un pueblo ejidatario. Nobody, not even him with his 2 tours in the United States or 3 tours, would he have been able to afford this without her. Hold on, let me go pay for my water. Andre, did they switch on? Alright, we'll call him later. Slept on the water jugs. Shame on the local government for allowing this to happen. You know, small towns like that, law enforcement in towns like that is not very, it's very rare, okay? I'm going to be honest. In small towns like that, law enforcement of any kind, even building permits, even making sure the land is this and that and up to code, you don't see it happen much, you know? So it's very much as long as you're friends with this and this. Oh, here it is. Is it this one? Hang on, Elian. Let me see if it's this one. Let's see. Let me show you this one. Okay, let me show you. Houston, we have a new one. Hold on. All right, let's check out this interview from CNN. Let me recortar mi pantalla. It fucking kills me that my videos pop up when you search her name. I know she's not a fan of that. Okay.
Garcia, who's American. All right, when her husband was deported almost a decade ago, Candace Sanchez Garcia, who's American, made a tough decision to give up her life in the U.S. and move to her husband's native Mexico. But recently, as the Trump administration ramps up its immigration crackdown, people have turned to her and her hugely popular TikTok page for advice. Here's CNN's Rafael Romo.
Okay, let me pause right there. Okay, listen to what she said. People are now turning to her page for advice. When you guys ask me, why is this such a big deal? This right here is a perfect example of why. Because she's creating this false story and creating false expectations for families that are looking to hers for advice on whether they should make these life-changing moves for their own families. Okay? She's painting this unrealistic picture of what moving to Mexico looks like for a family like hers. And there's people in the U.S. looking to her for advice. And mind you, the majority of her story is lies.
Neither of us, I feel like, knew what to expect.
This is what building a life together sounds like. A life she never imagined she would have.
Candace Marie Garcia Sanchez. I'm originally from Utah.
In the countryside, surrounded by farm
Your name is Candace Smith, you lying heifer.
Animals, and far, far away from home.
My husband was picked up by immigration. He did have a record in the United States. And
progress! I love this for us. I love that after a decade, she's now acknowledging that he had a record.
Set for deportation. We tried to fight it for a little over a year. And towards the end of it, we made the decision that we were going to move with him instead.
You heard that right. For Candace Marie Garcia Sanchez, breaking up the family after her Mexican husband was deported 9 years ago was not an option. So she decided to leave everything behind and move with her firstborn to her husband's native country, where life is slower and traffic jams do not necessarily involve motor vehicles.
Fast forward to now, I feel like we're just living our happy lives and raising our children in a beautiful place, and we get to just focus on our family. That's, what we always wanted.
5 years ago, she made a decision that has turned a traumatic deportation.
Good afternoon from Mexico. My name's Candace, and in 2016, my husband was deported from the United States.
Into a learning lesson she now shares with.
It was 2012, you lying heifer. Your husband was deported in 2012. We're going to get down to the reason why she don't mention that 2012 story.
The world by going public on social media.
Overall, it has been an extremely positive experience for us. We've met so many incredible families that unfortunately are in the same kind of situation or similar situation as us.
Her posts range from daily life in rural Mexico, where 2 other children were born,
And today when I went to the plaza, I found this beautiful girl.
to the hot topic of immigration.
Now, there's no getting around it. Deportation is political.
She may not live in the United States anymore, but Candace says she has continued to exercise her right to vote from abroad. In a recent post on TikTok, she said she voted against Donald Trump, but makes it clear she thinks immigration is an issue both parties have.
Voted against Donald Trump. I swear somebody looked up and said she wasn't registered to vote. Candelaria? Should we, okay, next rabbit hole, did she actually vote against Trump?
Mishandled.
I do believe that both sides have made promises that they haven't kept. Even though I've lived in Mexico for 8 years, I do vote in every election.
She has been successful beyond her dreams. She now has more than 1.5 million followers on TikTok and growing. Meanwhile, her husband, who worked construction in the United States for 18 years, focuses on building the home of their dreams.
a farmhouse overlooking the fields his family has owned for generations.
Y esa es la idea para ellos.
She left a comfortable life in the United States to join me in Mexico, Fidel says. Everything I do it for her and our children.
Okay, so news reporter says this is land that their family has owned for generations. Tierras ejidatarias.
The family is now looking forward to one of the most American of holidays, Thanksgiving. That's when they're hoping they will be able to move into their new home. Rafael Romo, CNN Atlanta.
Someone said, Elfida's chilling with this new girl. There's a reason she receives a big push. Overlooking the land and the entire pueblo is right. All right, there was a bestie that over the weekend sent in some interesting news clips. As I mentioned, some besties have started doing some of their own research. And I just thought this was crazy. It was crazy how much somebody could find. Oh, wait. Bestie, these are new. These are new. Okay, let's go through them together. Let me connect my phone. All right, so we were able to narrow down the tiny little town that Candace is from because a bestie found her on some old newspaper clips. Come on, come on. Hold on, let me connect my Mac. Look what you done started, Andy. Yeah. Honestly, I have enjoyed doing the research, okay? I have enjoyed the research. Yes, I have. Come on, phone. Sorry, guys, 2 seconds. I gotta link up my shit again. Okay, try again. We are going over on time. Are we? No, we're good. We're at an hour and a half. I like to end these at like 2 hours so we don't go over too much. Make sure NHRC is locked. It is. My phone doesn't want to connect. Hold on, guys. iPhone in use. Okay, this is our internet safety lesson for the day. Yes. Oh, guys, my phone doesn't want to connect. Let me try something else. Settings. Connect. So one thing that I've always questioned as well is, I wonder how the town actually feels about her. And I believe it's probably drastically different than recently unlocked with a Bluetooth and Wi-Fi enabled. Come on. Where is Peter? Isn't this his deportation video? No. So connecting to iPhone. Oh my gosh, you guys, I cannot get it to connect. Okay, I'm gonna have to email this link to myself so we can look at it on a different. Two seconds. Why doesn't Dale get interviewed? She does interview him. There's some videos on her YouTube channel of her interviewing her son. Personally think it's weird. Okay, so look. This bestie found some old newspaper clips. These are new. I haven't seen these yet. Okay, So let's look at some of these old newspaper articles of Candelaria. Let me make this bigger so you guys can see. LDS Seminary. Oh, so you guys remember we were on the fence about whether she was Mormon or not? She's 100%, we've confirmed she is LDS. Okay. The Castledale High School LDS Seminary announces the 1981 graduating class. Nearly 70 students will participate in ceremonies at the Castledale Stake Center May 14th. Graduates are listed by ward from the Emory Ward. Leanne Colson, where's Candace in here? Oh, did you find her ward, bestie? She's in this article somewhere. So she's part of, we don't have an account. I want to see where, hold on, let me make this bigger for you guys. So if we ever had any questions about her being LDS, they are gone. Okay, gone with the wind. It also says, okay, I figured out to her big bow hair and it's kind of Amish. Third ward. I hadn't seen these Castledale. I'm trying to see where Candace Smith is identified. Why was she wanting a Catholic wedding if she's LDS? Because Fidel is LDS. Or I'm sorry, because Fidel is Catholic. So she is Dixie, marries Tom Bass. Announces child of Miss Garen and Jay Smith. Who the hell is Tommy Bass, bestie? Look for Janet. Who's oh, bestie? Thank you. Okay, Native Rain is our source here. Who is Janet Bass? The Daily Breeze, Miss Garen and Jay Smith. Let me go back and look at these Latter-day Saints. What is this, Game of Thrones? Okay, you're reading 3 out of 5 articles for free. At a Christmas wedding, Miss Dixie Silly became the bride of Thomas Jean Bass December 25th. Ceremonies are performed at the home of the bride's parents, Bishop and Mrs. Draining Silly of Huntington. The father of the bride officiated. Parents of the groom are Mr. and Mrs. Bass. Aren't those her grandparents? Parents of the groom are, for her wedding, the bride chose blah, 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 blah. Tags. Why is Candace tagged in this, though? Emery. Should we show them her? I'm going to have to make an account, so let's look at the beating pageants. Okay, let's start this in chronological order, okay? First of all, we have found her birth announcement, okay? So, her birth was announced on January 1st, 1989 at the Castleview Hospital. She weighed 8 pounds, blah, blah, blah. She was welcomed by her sister, this is Asada and Onions, and brother Jesse J. Grandparents are Tommy and Dixie Bass of Huntington and J. Marcina Smith of Fallbrook, California. Great-grandparents are Zilda Seeley of Huntington and Thelma Bass of Spur, Texas. Congratulations to the new parents. So this date of birth doesn't match her court records. Her court records say January 20-something. So maybe that was a discrepancy. All right. Then we have, hold on, I reached my 5 article limit. I wanted to show you guys the little pageants. Hold on, let me see if I can make an account real quick. Please hold. Try 7 days for free. I don't want to. Continue with Ancestry. Look. I'm having to give up my spam email. Thank you for your hard work. Shout out to the bestie. All right, let's see if it lets me. No, I don't want to put my I don't want to put my card on here. $0 today, and then it renews at $74.90 plus. Bestie, can you send a screenshot so we don't gotta make an account? That's skip 7. Yeah, it's 7 days free, but then it automatically renews at $74 plus applicable taxes every 6 months beginning until you cancel. I don't want to put my card info on here. I always forget to. I always forget to cancel. Did her and Ferguson marry in a church? I wouldn't doubt it. I should have screenshot the articles. Hold on. Bestie's coming through clutch. I sent a screenshot. Email. Can you email it to me? All right, here. See if Bestie has an account and if she can email there. And we'll hold off on these. I really don't want to. While that's loading, I'll give you a preview. I'll give you a quick preview of the pageant. So before she was a TikTok star, Candace Smith was a beauty pageant girl. Which one do you think is her? I think it's this one. A ver, front Rosie, first attendant. Front Rosie Tucker. Okay, so it starts here. Little Miss Tiny Top, back. Amy Lofley, best talent in the Princess Age. Shiloh, second attendant. Oh, I think is this girl? One of those. Candace Smith, most photogenic, Miss Congenial. I'm pretty sure it's this girl right here. Okay, yeah, so before she went viral, before she was a TikTok, she was a town's beauty pageant. Beauty girl. Beauty princess. All right, I'm waiting on screenshots from the bestie. Middle. I'm pretty sure it's this one. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's that one. Let me make this a little bit smaller so you can see my beautiful face here while we're looking at receipts. So these newspaper clippings really just came in clutch because we were trying to find out what town she's from so we could try to find the other marriage certificate, right? Because I still want to narrow down on a date of when she married Ferguson. These did confirm that she's LDS. Unless she was baptized into the Catholic Church, I don't know how that works. She's from Castledale, Utah, which is in, I forgot which county it was. Druce County too. I didn't know they had pageants over there either, but she was the runner-up for something. The Princess Age group. Very Erica Kirk. It's giving Erica Kirk. Okay, sorry guys. I'm waiting for my bestie to send me screenshots of the other news clippings because we ran out of our 5 free articles limit. And I think she already has an account. Queen of Elmo. Oh, I think it's Elmo County or some shit. Elmo County. So remember in some of the videos where she was like, well, we didn't really get exposed to A, B, C, or D because we live in a small white town. So this is the town she's talking about. So then I was like, okay, so when did she meet Fidel? She didn't meet Fidel in Castledale. And I don't think she met Ferguson in Castledale. I think she went to college or school as soon as she graduated and met her husbands over there. I did check Elmo County court clerk, no records for a marriage license. So I've narrowed down her marriage records to Salt Lake County and Carbon County. If any of you guys want to look. Actually, I thought about calling Salt Lake County Clerk to ask them if they could verify somebody was married. But I need an estimated date. I stepped away for 15 minutes. What are we looking at? We're looking at news clippings of Candace Smith. No word back yet on the police report. Shout out to the bestie. Yeah, she did a little search for us for old newspaper clippings, seeing what we could find. Annie, her pub was 45 minutes for me. Yeah, bestie, go do some on the ground journalism for us. Go do some on the ground journalism for them. Girl, you didn't take us in the car. Sent them. Okay, thank you, bestie. Let me refresh here. All right. Let me see what bestie got for us. So I doubt this girl's even Catholic, okay? I think she's very much still LDS. She's very LDS coded still, okay? She dresses LDS, speaks LDS, acts LDS with her multiple husbands. Ancestry has an event I can't see in Price, Carbon County in June 2010 and February 2010. It's gotta be it. It's gotta be it. Who's calling Carbon County? Because Price is in Carbon County. Price is where Ferguson lives, and I suspect that's where he's always lived. So I suspect they got married in Carbon County. And I believe I tried to do a search, but there wasn't an online database. So, bestie ever. It's not coming through. Bestie, you sent it to Annie Jersey X. Nothing yet. I'll keep an eye out. Yeah, so we need to look into Carbon County for that marriage license. And Bestie said there's a event in June 2010. If she got married in 2010, the baby was already born. So did she marry him after the baby was born, trying to secure a new pappy? Have you tried Vegas? No, I'm certain it was in Utah. LDS people do not go to Vegas to get hitched. They don't. Bestie, I didn't get an email. Can you double check where you sent it to? I'm not clocking nothing over here. Carbon County. While we're waiting on that, let me look up Carbon County marriage records. We're just gonna have to call. Some of these you gotta call. A handful of counties have had an online registry that I can look through. Carbon and Salt Lake don't. Oh, here's it. Okay, we got it, bestie. We got it. Okay. You guys ready for the screenshots? Okay, bestie just sent these in. So, Miss Elmo and Princess. Was she Junior Miss Elmo? The Miss Elmo pageant was held on June 28th at the Canyon View Junior High. Junior Miss Elmo was Candace Smith. She's right here. she's right here, the middle one. Okay, next. Miss Elmo Pageant. That's her? Wow, that doesn't look like her, but okay. Candace Marie Smith is a 13-year-old daughter of Daryl and Janet Smith. She enjoys reading, writing poetry, stories, and doing volunteer work. Oh, we know she loves her some story time. We already saw that one. 14 lives in Elmo. I've never heard of Elmo, Utah. Okay. Second annual Miss Elmo. So she was trying to clock that Elmo pageant every year. Hey, bestie, the ones I wanted to see were the additional ones that you had just tagged this morning of the LDS. Can you send us the LDS articles? So one thing about Miss Marie, she has always liked the spotlight. Yeah, she's been trying to make it since she was youngin', okay? Actually, no, this is a good point, okay? She's been trying to make it since she was a child. So imagine what TikTok virality actually signifies to her when she's been in these little pageants since she was a wee little one, right? At the age of junior high, elementary. Here, let me show you. Right there. Can someone summarize all this beef? No way. No way we could summarize all this. LDS and their creepy pageants. This does tie into the LDS culture up there, though. It does. Yes. Okay. What I want is those LDS articles, bestie. If you have... Okay, here's some more. Oh. Who is Janet? Hold on a sec. I think. Remind me who that is, bestie. Oh, wait. Okay, so we're doing her whole lineage. Okay, Tommy and Dixie Bass or Bass, whatever, announced the forthcoming marriage of their daughter Janet Lee to Mr. Daryl Smith. Oh, this is her parents, son of Jay and Marcena Smith of Fallbrook, California. The couple will be married on November 21st, 1987. She was born in 89. Oh, and her sister was 7. So they also had kids out of wedlock because their older sister was 7 when she was born. So her older sister was already a thing here. The couple will be married on November 21st. The bride is a graduate of Emory County High School and the CEU nursing program. She is currently employed at Castleview Hospital. The bridegroom is currently employed by the Utah Highway Patrol. The couple will be residing in Price. She got married in Price. Price is the county. We need to search for that certificate. So these are her parents. Jeanette Lee Bass, whatever, and Daryl J. Smith. So that narrows us down to the parents. If they lived in Price, that means the marriage certificate to Ferguson has to be in Price, Carbon County, Utah, because Ferguson resides in Price to this date. Carbon County, besties, but we need a date. We need an estimated date. Elmo, Utah is south of Price County. Right. So Elmo was a tiny little town they lived in, but my assumption is that eventually they moved to Price, which was a bigger city. That's where she attended school. That's where she met Ferguson. That's where she married Ferguson. Carbon County. Carbon County. All right, let me go to the bathroom. Let me take a quick break. And I think I'm going to call Carbon County when I get back to see how we go about requesting records. BRB. Okay, Carbon County Clerk, here we come. Ferguson. Oh, we need his date of birth. I need for Ethan's date of birth again. LDS articles. Oh, let's check out these articles really quick. LDS articles. All right, so this is Tommy Jean Bass of Huntington. This is her grandpa, no? Blah, blah, blah. Married to Dixie Lee. He was a school bus driver and a fruit farmer. He was a veteran of the U.S. Army. He is survived by his wife, children, and spouse, Deborah Bud, Teresa. Janet and Daryl. Oh, this is her great grandpa. Janet and Daryl Smith of Elmo are her parents. 5 grandsons. Okay, services will be at the LDS Stake Center at noon. Okay, so it's. I think we've established that the girl comes from a long lineage of LDS family members, or so, whatever you want to call them, right? Ferguson, September 75. Remind me the date. I'm going to call the county clerk's office right now. Do you remember the date? All right, that's a great grandpa. Let me go next. Okay. And this is LDS Seminary holds exercises for 7 graduates. Candace is in here somewhere, I believe. Oh, 1981 graduating class. This means this was her parents' graduating class. So if her parents are LDS, can we make a safe assumption that she's LDS? Yeah. Don't have a date. I had the date somewhere. I think I sent it here somewhere. All right, I'm pretty sure. And Brian Allen Ferguson. We need a DOB. Okay. All right, should we call Carbon County? Not officially an LDS member. Right, so she's probably not practicing, but she was LDS. Honestly, most people from Vegas, most people from Utah, can we all collectively? All right, we're gonna call the county clerk's office. I'm gonna mute you for a second because I get kind of nervous. You're gonna have to go on YouTube if you want to hear me.
Clerk's office, this is Soleil.
Hi Soleil, I am trying to narrow down some marriage records so that I can submit a formal request for a marriage certificate. I'm on your website and I don't see any database where I could quickly search. I was wondering if you would be able to confirm the date and marriage of 2 individuals so I can submit a formal request for the marriage certificate or license, I mean.
Was it issued from here?
Yes.
Do you know the marriage date?
I don't. Can I give you date of birth of the individuals? Ferguson.
And the first name?
Brian.
Did you say Byron? I do not.
Can you check?
What would have been her name on the license? Her last name.
Candice, Candice, Marie Smith.
So her last name is Smith.
Yes.
I mean, there are a lot of Smiths. Do you have a time frame? Like, is the 70s too early?
Yeah, it would have been between 2009 to 2012.
That will help me narrow it down here. I do not have a Candace Smith, and I went from 2003 to 2014.
Okay. Let me check my records and maybe I have the wrong county. I appreciate your help. Thank you so much.
You bet.
So, not Price County. So this leaves Salt Lake County. Let me call Salt Lake County. Marriage records. No, her name is spelled with the ICE. Salt Lake County Clerk. Can I ask what religion you are? I'm Catholic, but I'm not an active Catholic. All right, let's call Salt Lake County next. Now remember, her divorce was filed in Salt Lake County. So there's probability that they lived in Salt Lake County. Oh shit, that's a fact, sorry.
Thank you for calling the Salt Lake County Clerk Marriage and Passport Division. Para Español, presione dos. We provide marriage licenses, marriage ceremonies, and new passport application services. We do not have divorce records. Please contact the 3rd District Court for that information. To schedule an appointment for a marriage license, ceremony, or passport application, please visit our website at www.slco.to/clerk. If you need a certified copy of your marriage license or have any questions, leave us a message and we will return your call within 1 business day. If you would like to speak with a staff member, please press 0, remain on the line, and the next available.
Yes, they were married because they filed for divorce. So they had to have been married because they filed for divorce. But what I'm just trying to narrow down is the date of that marriage ceremony. Even if she was married through church, she filed for divorce through the state, which means that she was married through the state. She filed for divorce through the state. See where I'm going with this? It's got to be Salt Lake County. I've searched all the surrounding smaller counties, including Carbon County. If it's not Salt Lake County, I'm stumped. Are we nearing our time? Oh, it's almost 2 hours. I hope this song is not copyrighted. Let me turn it down. No, her name is spelled with an I. And plus, she searched with the last name. So if it was a variation of the spelling of the first name, it would have popped up. So it's not Carbon County. Help me register.
If you'd like to leave a message and have us return your call, please press 1. If you'd like to remain on the line for the next available representative, please continue to hold. Office hours are from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, excluding holidays. For information on marriage and passport services, you can visit our website at
Can we check census records?
www.slco.org/clerk. If you'd like to leave a message, we'll call you back at our earliest convenience. If you'd like to leave a message and have us return your call, please press 1. If you'd like to remain on the line for the next available representative, please continue to hold.
We checked Vegas.
Office hours are from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, excluding holidays. For information on marriage and passport services, you can visit our website at www.slco.org/clerk. If you'd like to leave a message, we'll call you back at our earliest.
I'm gonna send them an email.
Are you still there?
Yes.
If you'd like to leave a message and have us return your call, please press 1. If you'd like to remain on the line for the next available representative, please continue to hold. Office hours are from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, excluding holidays. For information on marriage and passport services, you can visit our website at www.slco.org/clerk. If you'd like to leave a message, we'll call you back at our earliest convenience.
I'm gonna send them an email. See if it gets. I just need them to confirm the date. What did we say her date of birth was? The 27th? And. Between
If you'd like to leave a message and have us return your call, please. Salt Lake County Clerk, how may I help you?
Hi, good afternoon. I am trying to submit a formal request for a marriage license through the online portal, but I'm having a hard time narrowing down the specific date. Wondering if you can confirm the ceremony for 2 individuals over the phone so that I can submit the request online.
Okay, do you have the last name of the groom?
Yes, it's Ferguson, Ferguson.
And then first name?
Brian, middle name Allen.
B-R-Y-A-N or B-R-I-A-N?
Brian.
Okay, first name of the bride?
Candace Marie Smith.
And is this your license or are you a relative?
I'm a relative helping them with some court proceedings.
Okay. And you just need the date of the marriage?
Yep, I'm trying to submit a formal request and it just asked me for the date.
Okay, 6/29/2007.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye. I was right! 2007. The bitch was barely 18. 6/29/2007. She was married to Ferguson. So, all right, where does this bring us to? Fidel is Mr. Cilio girl. Aww. Happy anniversary to Candace on 6/29. That's crazy. Hey, Candace, remember we're cousins, okay? For legal purposes, we are primas, okay? Candace Sanchez Garcia, Ana Garcia, somos primas twinsies. 6/29/2007. So she was barely 2000. She was barely. How old was she in 2007? Chat. Let's do some math. 2007 till 1989. 2007 minus 1980. She was 18. She had just turned 18. Diego was born to her legal marriage to Ferguson. He is the pappy. He was the pappy. Ooh, and she met Fidel when? She said she met Fidel in 2007. Didn't she say she met... Okay, let me go back to the articles. I swear to God, she said she met Fidel in 2007. Candace, if you married Ferguson in 2007, that only leaves a window of 6 months of when you met Fidel. So... Oh, you don't get it, girl. Okay, hold on. Let me find the news article. Let me go to the beginning of my receipts. That was too easy. Busties, why have we just not called? I was doing everything to try to find it online. Great job, detective skills unlock. And thank you, Victoria, for my super thanks. I was nervous because like, what if they ask something that I don't have? Okay, so look, hold on, let me not get to, okay, I gotta take you back to the beginning. I gotta take you back to this news article. If the court clerk just confirmed. Now, mind you, if she married him 6/29/2007, they must have been what, high school sweethearts? There was a relationship prior to that, right? She was definitely married when Fidel met her in 2000. Where's the damn receipt? Oh, I wasn't ready for this. I've been looking. You guys don't know how hard I've been looking for this fucking marriage license and this date. All I wanted was the fucking date. So I could timeline it up. When the fuck did you marry Ferguson if you met homeboy in 2007? I wanted to just... That's all I needed. Hang up. Okay, hold on. In one of her news articles in the very beginning... Hold on, I gotta take you back to the top. Besties, remember I showed you this news article. Su esposo Fidel. It was the one she did on Azteca News. Analia, if you can find it first, if you go to her LinkedIn, it's one of the articles she has linked in her LinkedIn where she says she met him in 2017. Can someone drop her LinkedIn? Or not her LinkedIn, sorry, her Linktree. Let me see if it pops up for me. Oh, look, here it is. All right. Unless you removed it. Or was it La Opinión? Hold on. Here it is. Oh, Candace, you dirty little liar. You liar, Candace. Candelaria. All right. Here it comes. In one of her first interviews, okay, she tells us que their story begins in 2007 when a friend invited her to go out with her and her boyfriend, and the friend invited Fidel. When Candace was invited out, she was married to Ferguson. In fact, she had just married him on June 29th, 2007. We don't have a written receipt but we have the conversation with the court clerk that y'all listen to me call, okay? So she was only married, I don't know in what month she met Fidel in 2007, but she married the first papi, the first husband, in June. So that only leaves a very small window of 6 months of when she met Fidel. Like, she was a newlywed. She was a newlywed when she met Fidel. 100%, she cheated on Ferguson with Fidel. And when the first baby was born in 2009, she was legally married to Ferguson. So that, in the eyes of the law, that was Fergie's baby. It's a Fergie baby. Who would have happy? Who would have happy? Fergie? Fergie? Oh, you guys, I feel like we finally solved this fucking, one of the last pieces of the clue. So now, this makes me question that DV in 2011. During the time that she was DV'd in 2011, she was married to Ferguson. Now, this explains why her family didn't like Fidel. It explains why her family didn't accept Fidel in the beginning. Yo, so she cheats on her husband with Fidel, has a baby on him. Oh my gosh, this is Candace, you could have done a 50-part series like Risa Tisa. We would have listened. Look, we don't know. Biologically, I have no idea whose kid that is. We will have to take Candelaria's word for it. Some of you said that it looks like Fidel. Okay, I'm just talking about the legalities. Legally, that's Fergie's baby. Or was. Here's my educated guess. She's married to Fergie, cheats on Fergie with Fidel. Fidel knocks her up. The baby's born. Legally, it's Fergie, but biologically, it's Fidel's. There's some back and forth, which explains why when they got him deported the first time, she goes back to Fergie's family. Fidel comes back, and then Candace gets back with the baby daddy, finally divorces the first pappy. This is so messy. This is messy, but I'm pretty sure that's a timeline. Yep. I feel like we just we just solved the fucking puzzle, finally. Oh, her story is messy. Her story is not what she sold to the news stations over here. Okay, talking about we met into that. Well, maybe they did meet in 2007. But, güey, que no viera. Pinche Candelaria. Que tiene pegue. Now we just need the police report. That police report, I'm telling you, is going to fill in all the holes. And there's a reason she doesn't want us to get a hold of it. There's a reason she doesn't want us to get a hold of that police report. Oh, yeah. I wonder if Fidel knew she was married. You think Fidel knew she was married? Yes or no? Oh, wait, this is good. Hold on. Wait, now this video is going to hit a little bit different.
We have been together for 14 years now. How do we communicate? When we started out in the beginning, it was...
Okay, hold on. Real quick. Let's watch this. This story time is going to hit a little bit different now, okay? This video was posted in 2021. So let's do some math, okay? In 2021... Let me just play it.
First, Fidel and I have been together for 14 years now. How do we communicate?
Okay, so in 2021, she told her viewers that Fidel and I had been together for 14 years. That means they were together in 2007 when she was legally married to Ferguson. Interesting. Now notice she doesn't say married for 14 years, she says together.
When we started out in the beginning, it was pretty difficult. I think es tan poco difícil como nosotros, ¿no? Por comunicar en
Yeah. Honestly, yeah, she could have gotten the same amount of support. It's okay to be messy, baby girl. It's okay to have two baby daddies. LDS, like, the whole thing is very LDS coded. She got married as soon as she turned 18. Mind you, I want to clarify that getting married at 18 is not just an LDS thing. I got married at 18 and I'm Catholic, but I live in Utah. The Utah culture is very much like centered on marriage and a family. That's like your biggest aspiration as a young girl is to marry and have a family. So getting married at 18 in Utah doesn't necessarily mean that you are LDS. I got married at 18 as well. Okay, I was 9 months pregnant when I got married to my junior high sweetheart, and we were not LDS. But we've confirmed that her story, her family has a long lineage of LDS members. I love the way you say pappy. All right, hold on. I want to give y'all some more visuals. I love me visuals. I love visual storytelling. And I think it's important to give you guys visuals of what we're working with because these things hit a little bit different once we've confirmed that there was some infidelity. Ooh, emphasis on Fidel. That you can't spell infidelity without Fidel. Candace's story. I want to give you guys a picture of them in 2000. Hold on. Real quick. Oh, hold on. No. Okay. So this is what we were talking about last week, right? Where we said, how did this happen? How did 1 + 1 = 2? I'm still willing to bet he had a working relationship with somebody that she knew. I don't buy that we met through a mutual friend because look, why would her friends be inviting her out on a double date when she was legally married to Ferguson just 6 months prior? Okay, she did not meet him through a mutual friend. Bullshit. We called this last live because we were like, it just doesn't make sense that he would be associated with her social circle because of the culture, different language, all of that, right? So I don't buy her story that she met them through a friend because, again, why would her friends invite her on a blind date when she had just married somebody else 6 months prior? That don't make no sense. The math is not mathy. More lies. Tell me lies. Infidelity. I also got married at 18 to my husband, who at the time did not have papers. I moved to Mexico and we lived here, but I got him citizenship. Yeah, it happens. Someone said he was putting up the fence with the Fergusons. Look, just logically thinking, how else would these two end up together? Like, the visuals speak for themselves, right? The visuals speak for themselves. Newlywed to Mr. Ferguson. Newlywed, mind you. And I have to think, like, no, they weren't high school sweethearts because Ferguson is older as fuck than her. So when she married Ferguson in 2007, Ferguson was 32 years old and she was 18. That's fucking disgusting. I'm sorry. It's giving child bride. That's giving arranged marriage. Maybe not, but how the fuck did an 18-year-old marry a 32-year-old fresh out of 8? You see what I'm saying? So maybe it was arranged. And look, I don't blame you for cheating, but it's not like she cheated with somebody much younger. Yeah, that's gross. That's gross. My 18-year-old marrying a 32-year-old man over my dead body. Okay, so she marries Ferguson. He's 32, and she marries him in June. She turns 18 in January, so she's barely 18. Marries this old white man who she obviously doesn't feel because she cheats on him within 6 months of being married to him. She has a type, yes. And then she runs off. She runs off with the help. I'm so sorry. She runs off with Fidel, has a baby by Fidel, stays married to Ferguson. Fidel was a Sancho 100%. Fidel is Mr. Steal Your Girl. I think I'm pretty sure Ferguson is also LDS, so maybe it was like an arranged marriage through the church. I would also speculate she was groomed. And an 18-year-old with a 32-year-old man, Absolutely, there was grooming or arranged marriage or some shit. That just doesn't seem normal to me. It doesn't seem normal to me for an 18-year-old to marry a 30. But again, it is also very Utah coded. She had to be married, yeah, unless she was dating him as soon as she turned 18 and decides to get married within 6 months. And then the thing is, she mentions she got pregnant pretty quick. Well, if she met him in 2007, no, she had to have been dating him a couple years. According to her, since her timeline's all fucked up, I suspect she didn't meet him in 2007. I suspect she didn't meet Fidel in 2007. I think that's a stretch of her story to make it seem like I met him as soon as I was 18. Because in another part of the story, she talks about how she gets knocked up pretty quickly after dating Fidel. If she meets him in 2007 and the baby's born in 2009, that means she was knocked up. And mind you, the baby was born in December of 2009. So she was knocked up early 2008. No, she got knocked up early 2009. Valentine's Day, actually. It was a February conception date if the baby was born December-ish, right? So mates, yeah, I don't know. There's still some things that are not making entire sense as far as her meeting Fidel. But one thing's for sure that we've narrowed down. She was married to Ferguson when she started dating Fidel. And she was married to Ferguson when her first child was born. And legally, he was the pappy. Now, that divorce that we saw did not address that child that was born in that marriage. And that's a huge red flag. Because even if the child is not his, the child was born during that marriage. So I have huge concerns of why her divorce decree does not address that child that was born to their marriage. Even if the child is not theirs, I've seen multiple divorce decrees. Like I've had some messy ass friends. I've known some messy ass bitches in Salt Lake that had babies of other men, and they addressed them in the divorce decree. So in her divorce decree from Ferguson, bullet 6 states there are no children at issue in this marriage. At issue. At issue means nobody was fighting over the babies. Nobody's fighting over who's the pappy. But I just have huge concerns of why her child wasn't mentioned in this marriage. It should have been. It should have been. If she had taken this to an attorney, that child had to be listed in this divorce decree because he was born during the divorce. Even what it should have said is, this child born at this date to the party's marriage, and the legal the biological father is this person and is taking paternity of the child. But that didn't happen here. So that would be interesting to see how she's been dealing with that, because this is where paternity should have been established, that it wasn't Ferguson's. Perhaps Fergie's not the biological pappy, and it doesn't look like Fergie was fighting for that child. But legally, that baby was supposed to be addressed in this divorce decree because it was born to their marriage. Period. This is better than any TV series. I wonder if mom raised the baby for Candida. Fergie could have been paying child support. She could still get him for child support, actually. Because it was where it just says that there's no children at issue. The verbiage is interesting. At issue. Meaning it doesn't say there were no children born to this marriage, which is what it should have said, which is what standard divorce verbiage is when there's no children. There was no children born during this marriage, I will say. You know, I was actually thinking over the weekend, maybe we're looking in the wrong places for this marriage certificate. Well, now that we found it, but we haven't done enough digging on Ferguson. We haven't done much digging on Ferguson. We did a little bit. We found his sister on Facebook, but maybe we're looking in the wrong places for Ferguson. Maybe he has more answers than we think he does. But actually, maybe not. I think this sums up what we needed to know about Ferguson. He was her legal husband at the time that she met Fidel, and at the time that her first child was born, and at the time that her first child was conceived. You hot toddy. We don't give her any ideas. Yeah. Ferguson, but honestly, what? Well, I guess Ferguson could no. Here's the thing. Ferguson's old. He's an old man in his 50s. He doesn't have a digital footprint. Seems like he's a private man. I don't see him having any interest in taking part of her messy ass online story, especially because it's a fucking facade. Now, somebody mentioned at some point in one of these videos that her brother made a comment, I don't know if in a video of hers, that he doesn't watch her content because he knows the real story. I haven't fact checked this. I haven't seen it myself. But if you have the video, clip it for us. Send me a link. I would be interested to see if that was the case. I beg your pardon, 50. Okay, well, 50 feels old to those of us that are not there yet. Okay, probably once I hit 50, I'll think it's not that old. But right now, it seems old in comparison to being in your mid-30s. It's old when he married an 18-year-old when he was 36 or 32. Yeah, Brian Ferguson and Price is him. That's him, but he doesn't have much of a digital footprint. Addie, I'm great, but I'm not old at 50. Oh, besties, I'm sorry. I just because I'm in my mid 30s, gonna be late 30s soon. I just feel like 50 is so far away for me. It's probably not, but that's what it feels like. Imagine when you were 30, did you think 50 was old? I bet you did. I bet when you were in your mid 30s and you thought about being 50, you were like, God damn, that's old as fuck. That's how it feels to us 30-year-olds, but maybe not once we get there. This is dumb. My divorce doesn't reference my kids. Then you did yours wrong. It should. If you have a divorce with children, it's supposed to list your kids and it's supposed to address orders for your kids and how you're going to split the kids and who's going to take care of the kids and who's going to pay for the kids. And if the kid's not yours, that's where you legally establish that it's not yours, so that you can't be on the hook for that child later on. Ooh, I did not know I had so many 50-year-old besties in here. I'm sorry, besties. To me, it seems old. To me, as a 30, when you're 35, 50 feels old. I'm sorry. It does. Okay. Yeah, definitely should list the kids. At least just to say that there's no paternity. Yeah, there's a lot of carried over 50. All my 50-year-old besties. At some point, I thought 30 was old in here. Exactly. I used to think 30 was old too. When I was 18 and I would think about being 30, people would ask me, how old are you going to be when your daughter's 18? I would be like, I'm going to be like 36. And that just seemed so far away. And I was like, ugh, old, gross, right? So there was a point in time where I felt like 36 was old as well, back when I was younger. So anything past 40s for me feels so far away and it feels old. But if you're already there, then it doesn't feel old, and probably 70 feels old to you. If you're 50, does 70 feel old? 75? Be honest, probably seems like it's far away, right? I feel great, pero ya 22, 20, yeah. Last 25 years, got younger. My kids are in the early... No, I'm not apologizing because that's how I feel. We're gonna be stuck on 50 being old. Hey, I will tell you that aging is a privilege. That's what I tell myself each year that I mark one more year. But that's how I feel. I feel like 50 is old because I'm still 36. And all you 50-year-olds aquí andan como chismosas de 30 y 25, les digo. Okay? Les voy a decir, I'm gonna keep it a buck. All you 50-year-old besties, if I was beefing with you, I would tell you you're too old to be in here. If I was beefing with you, I would pick at you being too old. Absolutely. No tengo que hacer. When you get senior discounts, you're old. Look, I think he was old to marry her. She was 18 when they got married. So yes, I'm going to say that man is old. He was too old to be marrying an 18-year-old. Can we all collectively agree? A 32-year... How old was he? 30s? I'm 36. Imagine me marrying an 18-year-old. I'm too fucking old to be marrying 18-year-olds. Okay? Yes, I am. Imagine me at 50 marrying a 36-year-old. Maybe not. Maybe not in that context. Okay? I will probably... I'm not even going to discriminate because I will fuck with 50-year-old. Yeah, I would. Yeah, I will fuck him if he was 50, if he was a good-looking 50-year-old, okay? But going back to 18 and 32, absolutely the fuck not, bitch. My daughter's almost 18. I would not marry her off to no 30-year-old man. No. The difference in emotional maturity, intellect, ability, manipulation, all that shit. Absolutely not. Yeah. It's giving SVU. It's giving Special Victims Unit. Absolutely. I would not. I would fight tooth and nail before my daughter is dating a 30-year-old man. It just makes no sense. Because 18-year-old girls are very impressionable, very naive, very vulnerable. Okay, so no, there's a red flag for me in that if a 30-plus-year-old man is marrying an 18-year-old. It's different when you're 36 marrying a 50-year-old. Why? Because as 36, we've matured. I could probably handle fucking with the 15-year-old right now. Yes, I could. And the age gap is the same. But it's different when the woman is that young. Or vice versa. Imagine a 30-year-old woman dating or marrying an 18-year-old boy. There's something wrong there. Yeah, as a 32-year-old who worked with high schoolers just turning 18, that is... See? Yeah, thank you. It's weird. So I don't blame her for cheating, but then she cheats with an older motherfucker too. How old was Fidel when she met him? Fidel I think was 28. Even then, too much for me. Even then. I just feel like... that's also part of the romanticizing this love story that we skip over, that she was a young girl probably groomed by these older men and then abused by one of them. Does her sister have an older husband? No idea. No idea on what her sister has or anything like that. The only fact I really cared for the sister is that she's a Trumper. All right, guys, I think that wraps up our sesh for today. That was some good work. Did we... What date did we say was her marriage? Did I write it down? 6/29/07. What a pleasure. What a pleasure being here. Okay, so I want to keep you guys up to date on the status of that police report. I don't think we'll see it anytime this week, if I'm being realistic. It would be great if we got it back this week. You think that's going to be for an interview? Absolutely not. I don't think so. Based on the fact that he has no digital footprint, he's now remarried, lives a very quiet life, is an older gentleman. Older, not old. I absolutely not. I also think that would be kind of weird. Like, hey, would you be willing to give us an interview on Candelaria Smith? So did she cheat on you or not? Did you set up Fidel or not? I really think that the police report is going to fill in the gaps to everything that's left without us needing to interview anybody else. First time in exposure witness live things. I knew she had it when she confirmed the name. She goes, okay, now what's the wife's name? I was like, got her. Yeah, that was fun. I really like doing some of these lives. It's nerve-wracking, not gonna lie, because I never know what the court clerk is gonna say. And I don't know if she's beat me to it yet, because I do believe that she has been watching all of these lives and trying to get ahead and trying to conceal some of her records, the same way that she's trying to prevent the police report from being released. So some of these calls that I'm making, I'm just YOLOing and hoping she hasn't gotten to them first and been like, don't release my shit to nobody, you know? But yes, marriage records are public records. I wonder why. I don't know, but I wonder why. Is Candace Trumpy as well? I bet you she was before Fidel got deported. Yeah. Oh, we were We were going to try to verify her voting status. Thanks for reminding us, because she mentioned in one of her interviews that she voted against Trump. I wonder if there's a way to, let me check Utah voter registration status. How old is she? She's 37. Hi, Steph. I don't have a wheel open right now. I'm going to open one later. Go to this website. I was thinking about doing a slot wheel. All right, I'm on the Utah voter registration website. Let me see if I have enough of her info to confirm if she's registered to vote. Date of birth, what did we say her birthday was? Was it 27 or 28? I think it was 27, right? We're gonna do her LLC address. Okay, last research for the day. 2025, October is when I clocked her, and LLC receipts are in October. Let me try finding her. Let's see if she's registered to vote as Garcia Sanchez. No. Let me try hyphenated. She did legally change her name, I believe, to Garcia Sanchez. She's registered to vote. Party affiliation is unaffiliated. So she said she voted against Trump. How can I show you this? I don't want to show you her address, although it's what's registered to her LLC, which is public records. Party affiliation is unaffiliated. So that means she doesn't have a party, right? Would it say here if she was Democrat or Republican? Learned about candidate voter issue. Yes, okay, let me just show it to you. So she told the news station that she voted against Trump. Does this mean she's a third party? Does this mean she was one of those I couldn't pick from the lesser evil? It's giving unregistered third party didn't vote because she couldn't make up her mind. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's giving the people that couldn't. So she specifically told, she specifically told the news station that she voted against Trump. Do we remember what she said? I'd have to go back, but I swear I heard her say she voted against Trump. It's giving independent. So she's not a Democrat. Interesting. Will there be a replay we call the marriage license? Yeah, on my YouTube channel. I mean, she hasn't decided. All right. It makes sense because she also said, I think both parties have failed to deliver, blah, 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 blah. So this means her legal name in Utah is Garcia Sanchez. Why her kids are Smith in Mexico is still a mystery to me. But Yeah, that's what this means. If she's registered to vote under Garcia Sanchez, that means her identification matches Garcia Sanchez. But I think I do think it's interesting. She doesn't have a party selected. I would think somebody with the history that she has would be a Democrat. If you're voting against Trump, is it a fair assumption to say that to vote against Trump, you would need to vote Democrat at this point? I recall her saying she didn't vote for Trump. All right, so maybe this works in her favor, saying she didn't vote for Trump. Blue. I would just feel like at this point in the political climate in the United States, to say you voted against Trump would mean you're voting blue. But that's just my personal opinion. Oh, did I exit? Sorry, I'm not a little close. I have to be. So the reason she was probably able to take on Garcia Sanchez is, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but when you get married, you can take your marriage license to the place, whatever, that does a name change, it's Social Security office, and change your name there. In Mexico, she wouldn't be Garcia Sanchez. And for immigration purpose, you have to have both names. Should we check her sister? What do you think her sister's registered as? What's the sister's name? Oh wait, we found it in the, well, if she hasn't changed, let me pull up the letters of support. Let's look up what the sister is. Let me see if my calculations were correct. Character letters. Jeanette Hen. Oh, let's look up the mom. Let's look up the mom that said that the dangerous criminal. Right? Yeah, let's look up the mom who told the judge that Fidel is not a dangerous criminal. I'm willing to vote, or I'm willing to bet they were we don't have the date of birth. No, yes we do. Yes we do. We have Jeanette Henry's date of birth on the newspaper clipping of her parents. No, we don't have date of birth on the mom. I need date of birth on the sister. If the sister was 7, we need date of birth to pull up voter status on the family. I'm pretty sure we could narrow down the birthdays. Diego's birth certificate and say it has to match his Mexican birth certificate. First name basis with the Ringo family. I'm really curious to look up the family voting status. We'll give her a pass that she's not affiliated. I have my personal opinions on that, but I need to look up. I need the date of birth on the mom. Alright, Daryl Smith, Jeanette Henry. Maybe the sister is going to be easier to search for. Let me look up the name. Let me look up sister name. Start here. But sister probably won't be registered to that same address because she probably doesn't live at home anymore. So we probably won't have the address for sister. Also, sister lived in Arizona. So no, we're focused back to mom. We only need one more piece of information to verify mom's voting status. Jeanette Henry. We need date of birth for this, for the mom. All right, besties, that's your homework. We gotta narrow it down. I'm pretty sure she posted a birthday vlog for the mom. Pretty sure I've seen a birthday vlog for mom, but I don't think it has the year. Mom has two different names and two different moms, Callie Smith and Janet Bass. Mom is Janet. I think Callie is grandma? I can confirm mom's name is Janet. She goes by Janet Henry. She filed a letter of support for Fidel in the immigration case. So this is her letter, Janet L. Henry. But we just need a date of birth for mom to look up her voter status. Let's see what we can find on. Let's see what we can find on Candelaria's. I'm certain she's posted a birthday vlog for her mom on TikTok. Celebrating my mom's. All right, she has a birthday vlog. Let's watch it together, see what we can find. My mom's first visit to her home, Mexico. Day 4, celebrating my birthday and my mom's. Thoughts? Oh, she celebrated her birthday with her mom. So this isn't it. All right, no, not that one. Mother's Day program. Diego's Mother's Day surprise. Mother-in-law's birthday. I need this piece of information. I need to confirm. Here's the mom. Meet my mom, Q&A.
Monica,
Let's meet her mom.
She said, does your mom watch your YouTube channel and is she subscribed?
Yes. I watch, that's how I follow what my grandkids and my daughter's doing. If I don't see a post from her every day, I think, is she being lazy or is she busy?
Oh,
but that's how I follow my grandkids and see how big they're getting and
I send pictures also. Don't let it fool you. But I am very busy.
She does, and she's busy, and I'm busy. But it's so nice to go in there and see him playing, like out in the field, and interacting with her dad and with the coworkers that he works with, and I love that dirty little face on that Dominic.
I
want to get a wash rag and go.
I think the cleanest I've ever seen my child is here. This is the cleanest I've ever seen him.
But you know, a dirt.
Okay, I think I found a date of birth just on a quick search. I think. I did a Google search for her and it came up with, is her mom 86 years old? She looks young for being 86. August 28th, 1939. Let's try it. August 28th, 1939. Lisa, thank you so much for the galaxy. No. That's not it. She's not that old. All right, chat. We're on a search for a birthday. Jeanette L. Henry out of Price, Utah. Oh, I'm pretty sure I found her. And wait, I think this is her. And she's very political. Jeanette Henry Elkins? Maybe not. No, she looks a little young. I don't think this is her. April 16, 1963. Are you sure? April 16th, 1963. I know a fucking Trumper when I see one, bitch. Boo! Her mom is a Trump supporter. She's registered as a Republican. Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, I'm not surprised. It just makes me feel amazing when I know that I'm fucking right. Not Candace's mom being a fucking Trump supporter while her daughter's living with her deporter husband in fucking Mexico. Okay. Not her fucking mama being a Trump supporter where the other sister is crying on CNN about how hard deportation has been for them. Yeah, I found her with the April 16 date of birth. Y'all want to see? Here, TikTok. Enjoy. The mama. Yeah. Are you surprised? I called it. Why did I call it? Because her fucking character letter. Imagine what they felt like writing character letters for Fidel. I know carne asada and onions is a Republican. I don't even need to look up the other daughter. I guarantee you, so was Candace. And that's why she didn't sit at the... You know what? Let me print this for receipt purposes. I love me some receipts. Oh, yes. Damn. I wonder how does that work? How does that work when you got grandbabies? How does that work when you got grandbabies? You know what? Let's watch the Meet My Mom Q&A now. Now that we know her mom is a fucking Republican. Sorry, I was gonna jump off this slide, but it's getting too good. Hold on. It's getting too good. Let's watch some Meet My Mom video now that we know she's a fucking Republican. Let's go on.
Every child is a happy child.
A dirty child is
and
a happy child.
Having a dirty face and that playing in the dirt builds up your immunity too, so he'll be more healthy.
He will be healthier because
healthier.
of this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's see. So we're going to get into some harder questions. I know. Prepare for waterworks. Okay.
Watch your dimples. All my girls have dimples.
It's true.
I just want to know. Hold on, Candace. Candace, do you cry to your mama about immigration policies that affect her family that she's fucking voting for? Candace, we need to know. Do you cry to your mama the same way you cry to social media? I just can't believe the nerve these fucking people have right now. Monetizing off of our community, exploiting our community, traveling to that fucking town, knowing good and goddamn well that you're voting against the dangerous criminals, the illegal aliens, the make America great again. Oh, keep that bitch out of fucking Mexico, Candace. That bitch don't deserve to be in Mexico, okay? She don't deserve to be among the locals. Like, it boils my... If there's not something that that doesn't trigger me more is fucking Trumpers in Mexico. I can't stand them. Call me racist, call me whatever the fuck you want. I cannot stand to see Trumpers come to Mexico. I can't stand it. And then to do this shit, to get on this fucking platform that she knows is predominantly Latinos, the people she's fucking voting against, to get on here with her daughter and talk about... Ooh, I'm sending you some fucking hate mail. Some fucking hate mail is going to this bitch. I'm so sorry.
We all have dimples.
They all have dimples.
Ugh.
Okay, so we have a question from Molly. Molly said, how did your mom cope when you and your son moved to Mexico? I recently moved with my daughter so we could be a family here with my husband in Mexico. It's hard on everyone and is mixed with many emotions. What advice would you give to another mother whose daughter and grandbabies live in Mexico?
What advice would a Trump supporting mama give to another family that's facing deportation? Oh my God.
Her daughter's husband not being able to go to the US.
You got fucking Trump supporters on this channel giving our community advice. How do you feel about that, chat? We're taking advice from privileged American white citizens, MAGA voting motherfuckers. That's who she's having give advice to other people facing deportation. What type of fuckery is... You think Candace don't know her mom is MAGA? You think Candace doesn't know what her mom's political views are? And she still has the fucking nerve to get on here and say, can you answer some questions from my followers? Can you give some advice to other moms? The fucking nerve this bitch has. Ew, I hate her even more. Now, you know what? Now y'all can say I'm a Candace hater. Now y'all can clog it and say I hate fucking Trumpers. I hate MAGA. Yes, I do. With a passion deep embedded in me. As long as I'm alive, Trumpers will have a hater. Candace to me is a fucking Trumper.
Say to other moms in your shoes.
At first, I was a little hesitant because of what you hear and that. But like I said, I had the gut feeling that Fidel would take care of them. And my daughters are strong-willed, strong personality. And I knew if anybody messed with them, they probably would take them out at their knees. But
that's interesting. Oh, I called it. I called it from a mile away that this was a family of Trumpers. Yeah.
the advice I would have is trust your gut. You know, I had a good feeling. I hated to see them go so far away from me because I did a lot with Candace and Diego and that when they were up here. But I knew that it was the right thing to do. You have to keep your families together. It doesn't matter the distance.
Then why are you voting against that, you fake ass phony bitch? You gotta keep families together as you're voting to rip them apart? Seriously? Is this this shit pisses me off so bad. So bad. And then the fact they monetized off of this. There's a special place in hell for bitches like these.
That you just have to remind them that you still love them. And, you know, they could be in a different country like England or New Zealand or Australia. Mexico is just another country
that we don't want to come into ours. We want to keep families together. White families, that is. White families like my daughters. Keep white families together is what this bitch should have said.
And, you know, there's airplanes that go in and out of Mexico. You know, there's cars that go out. But
That's
I would
true.
say, you know, just keep the faith and just watch and make sure that, you know, a mother has this instinct in her gut if she knows that something's wrong. And if she feels like there's something wrong, push it. But, you know, I think it was the right thing for Candace. I think it was the right thing for her and Diego, and especially for those boys to be able to interact and be with their father and as a family. It's family oriented. That's, you know, and they're learning special skills.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I grew up on a fruit farm. And now Diego and Dominic are getting to learn.
She said there's planes and cars in Mexico. And a lot of dangerous criminals is what she wanted to say.
Learn how to
build houses.
Besides build houses, they plant corn and they planted broccoli and
Diego plants beans.
And stuff like that. And that's some of the skills that there's some kids here in the United States that have never had the opportunity to just play in the dirt.
Yeah, to play in the dirt.
Play in the dirt, yeah.
There are some, not everybody, but
yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I always kind of wondered. I don't think you and I ever really talked
You
about
guys noticed she named England first.
Well, we had a lot of questions that asked, what was your initial reaction to me telling you that we were moving to Mexico? Like, how did you initially feel about it?
To tell you the truth, I didn't want her to go, but I cried because my oldest child was going to be so far away, and if she needed me, I couldn't just fly there.
She's not her oldest child, though. According to her birth announcement, the other daughter was 7 when Candace was born.
And as a nurse, you want to take care of them. So, it was hard. It took me a little while to adjust, but I knew Candace wouldn't do anything that in her gut she would regret, And I've seen so much growth in her. She cooks better than I do now. She doesn't even set the fire alarm off.
Where's your
I never would have thought that Candace would be the one cooking at the stove. To tell you the truth.
I have cooked a lot of here, which we did have.
I'm warning you now. My thumbnail is gonna say Candace La Abuelita 70 is a registered Republican. Well, she's not a registered Republican, but it's gonna give some clickbait like that. Okay, I'm telling you right now, this thumbnail is gonna say La Abuelita 70 MAGA family or some shit like that. I'm warning you now.
Questions about that? Which one? Oh, I'm sorry. These dinosaurs. Don't mind Dominic. Just making sure he has his dinosaurs. Molly, thank you so much for that question. I hope that helps, Molly. That leads me into my next question. So, Tempa 87 said, "Good morning. Good morning. Did she like the pozole that you made last time, or does she like Mexican food in general?" So the pozole was, you remember the hominy soup?
If this bitch says she loves Mexican music or Mexican food, it's gonna be my 13th reason.
Did you like that?
I loved it. It had
you love it so much, but you
so much flavor. And my husband, he thinks the Mexican food here in the United States doesn't have any flavor, and he loved that. But we didn't tell him it had hominy in it, and we didn't tell Candace's sister that.
Oh yeah, I didn't tell my sister that we put a pig foot in it. We took that out before she saw the pozole.
She ever ate it.
Yeah, she's weird about it.
I think she liked it.
No, she loved it. Actually, she's the one that requested the pozole. And so I don't ever. Well, she'll know now. Sorry, Nicole.
Sorry, Nicole.
She'll know when she watches this.
We kind of slipped that in on you.
Yeah. So, but I did put a pig foot in it. I did cook the meat with pig foot and all of that. And it tastes so good.
It was
but we did
really
take the pig foot out.
I even took some of it to work because we had so much of it, and made down.
They love the food. They love the culture. They just don't want the people in the United States with them. Too dangerous to live amongst them, but not dangerous enough for them to come to our country, right? Okay. They love the food, though.
I mean, everybody on my unit had some, and she made this. Is it Spanish rice? Is what it's or
the red rice.
The red rice, and tortilla shells, and I mean, they said, "Tell your daughter she's a good cook." They loved it.
We sent all of the leftovers to the hospital. So my mom actually works graveyards at the local hospital here, and so we just sent it over there so that everybody on the graveyard shift could eat, because that was the least we could do their work in the graveyards. So.
Did you just tell us where your Republican mama works, Candace? Oh, I don't know. If I were you, with the current political climate, I just wouldn't be sharing details like that about my mama.
Oh, let's see. So we have Maggie Castillo asked, so my questions to your mom: what does your mom and the rest of your family think about you moving to Mexico? They're very supportive. My mom has shared a little bit of her thoughts with you on that. Does she hope y'all will come back to reside in the U.S. one day? Do you? Is that what you're hoping for? I think you and I have ever talked about that.
I don't know. The more that I see you happy down there in Mexico and that, I don't know if you would be happy here.
I know. Could you see us here? Because I could. That's a baby cry.
To me,
Also, I call bullshit that she made the pozole. Okay, bullshit. The sister-in-law, the cook, made the pozole.
That is, I really think your happy place is going to be down there.
Yeah, it's weird. That's such a weird thing.
Yeah, even though a mom wants to have all her kids close, and that it is close to me, but I'd rather have you down there happy and enjoying life and learning, and your kids learning what they can, than being up here with me, because everybody's different. They all have their place in this world, and that's your place, is down there with Fidel.
Yeah, that's weird. I think about it, right? Like, I can't, even though all you guys are here, I can't see us here anymore. That's not here doesn't feel, this is gonna sound bad because I know she's here, whatever, my mom knows this doesn't mean her, but like it doesn't feel, I feel very much like a visitor now, every time I hit US soil, which is really weird to me. I never thought I'd be like that.
Candace thinks she was born Latina in another life. Clock it.
And there's probably a lot of people in other countries that feel the same way.
Yeah.
It's who you love and who you're with.
Yeah.
I think that makes.
Let's see. Oh, she asked me a couple questions too. So, she said, does Fidel have a good relationship with your family? Yes, I think so.
I harass him all the time.
Yeah, my mom harasses him. Let's see. How do you deal with feeling lonely about having your family close by? I call them a lot. I call them a lot.
And you eat comfort food.
Oh, like in trouble though. That was the good thing.
No, they were good.
All right, I'm done. I'm done. I don't. Yeah, you know, Candace should start with trying to influence her fucking family to stop voting against immigrants. Is where this is headed. We need to look up this. Oh, I guarantee you, the sister is. I guarantee you, the whole family is Republicans. The whole family. Candace came up as not affiliated to any party, which it's giving I couldn't choose between the lesser of the two evils. How many people did I hear say that? I couldn't choose between the lesser of the two evils when deciding that I didn't want to vote. Also, the sister doesn't live in Utah, which is why I didn't think we would narrow down her search. Is my shit dead? How do you guys feel about that? I mean, I called it. I really love when I'm right. Love when I'm right. Every prediction, every assumption that I have made in this fucking rabbit hole has been spot on. Because I called it when I read those letters. Sister's name is Nicole. Yeah, but she lives in Texas. Honestly, I really don't need to look further to know the mom is still a Republican to this day. That tells you everything you need to know. She's still a Republican to this day, despite her family being so heavily impacted by deportation. You see what I'm saying? Despite how hard things have been, blah, 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 she's still a Republican. Watching her daughter be torn apart from and still a Republican. That tells you everything you need to know about this family. Mm-hmm. And her saying Fidel is illiterate. Yeah. Yep. Imagine, like, the audacity that takes. I just think it's so disrespectful. All I know, if that was my mom, I would fall out with her. I know this sounds really harsh, but as somebody that's been impacted by deportation, there's no way in hell, especially at this point where things are, that I could sit in the same room with a family member that's fucking MAGA. No way. No fucking way. There's no way. Nope. The fact that she's still so friendly and still has the audacity to bring the mom down. To bring the mom down amongst this tiny little town, to put her on the YouTube channel, to spotlight her mom on, how did you feel about this? What's the hardest thing about my deportation for you? Knowing good and goddamn well, her mama is still voting for exactly what happened to Candace's family. No, the fuck not. We would not be kumbaya. No, the fuck not. I will not be taking pozole over to her. No, the fuck not. Absolutely not. Absolutely the fuck not. But it also tells you something really interesting here. Candace herself is on the fence. Candace herself is on the fence. Despite how hard this deportation has been on her and her family. And that tells you a lot. Do you think she'll be successful in police report not being released? No, I don't. I wonder what Fidelity thinks of his in-laws. Yeah, I don't know. That's crazy. But hey, that's crazy. The reason why she's not, and this is a perfect example of her stance and her privilege. The reason why she's not passionate about politics is because she hasn't really suffered firsthand. She's gone through things, but from a privileged standpoint. Can we all collectively agree deportation has affected her, but to a degree? So the reason why she's not politically passionate and using her vote for as much as she can and cutting off ties with her MAGA family members is because she's still very much on the fence about it. Like, well, it hasn't been that bad. Because what the fuck could you be on the fence about if your family was firsthand hit by deportation? What the fuck could you be on the fence about? Between red or blue or in the middle? Could she possibly be on the fence about taxes? Or what could be the determining factor where she's still at this point on the fence? An undecided party. Because at the end of the day, deportation was a cash cow for her. She's actually profiting from what happened to her family. Right? So why would she be passionate about being anti-deportation? Why would she be passionate for as much as she talks about wanting to help families and this and that? No, the fuck not. Half of her little heart is still MAGA. Promise you. Half of her little heart is still MAGA. I wonder if there's a place we could look up the history of someone's voter status. Let's look. Oh, I'm sure her audience is predominantly liberal and Dems. What was the last election? What year? 2004? 2024, no? You'll need to request the voter file. I'm feeling doing that. 2024. She is the most Latina person. Well, she's not Latina, but she's the only undocumented family that her family members have ever came across. We know that because when she interviewed her friends, they sort of said, I had never even came across an undocumented person outside of Saturday Night Live skits, mind you. Yeah. Elections result, historical information, and data. Let's see. So we can get a election data report, which provides a list of voters who have voted before election day in 2024. This report is available for regular, even primary and general elections. It is not available during odd year elections or after an election. Can we please take a trip to Pueblo? I would think it's safe to guess she didn't vote. I don't think she voted in 2024. And these are just my personal assumptions based on what I have found. I don't think she voted. You can look up party donations on actblue.gov. I imagine her making party. This is going to piss me off even more. Yeah. So in summary, what did we learn, class? A quick summary of what we covered today. We confirmed her family members are actively registered MAGA supporters, Trump supporters, Republicans with a KKK. And we've confirmed that she was married to Ferguson on June 29th, 2007 by calling the Salt Lake County Clerk's office this afternoon, and they confirmed that this is the date of their ceremony. And what else? We've also confirmed that she lied about why she doesn't show people that her house is the biggest one in the entire fucking town. Oh, we also confirmed she was a newlywed when she met Fidel in 2007. In fact, she married, literal newlywed. We also confirmed she was probably groomed by her first groom. In one of her videos, she said she always votes. Yeah, what a productive life if I do say so myself. That marriage certificate was fucking bugging me so bad, bestie. So bad. It was bugging. I was like, why the fuck can I not get? I don't know why we just hadn't called. Because I've been trying to find everything just online without having to call places, right? I'm not a fan of having to call in the court clerk or the county jail and having to talk to the jail guards and shit. But yeah, that marriage license was fucking bugging me. And I finally had the idea. I had a little, because the Salt Lake County Clerk's office has an online portal where you can request records, but you need the marriage date. So I was like, let me call and just see if they'll confirm the date of the marriage for me so that I can submit this request. Because how could I submit the request if I don't know the date, right? That was a good idea. And in summary, they confirmed. Brian and her were married in 2007. That was fun. What is this going to lead to, her getting kicked out of YouTube? No, nothing, honestly. It's just going to lead to us finally getting some answers. We've established she's beloved. This has never been out to cancel her. Y'all can do with this information what you want. For me personally, I just need to know what kind of dragon I'm slaying. Okay? I need to know what I'm up against. And yeah, honestly, I hope her white privilege gets fucking revoked. Will it? I doubt it. She's gotten too far. She's in too deep. Some people are too entangled in her web of lies. Those of us that have been watching this want to untangle those web of lies so that we can make informed decisions on what we're supporting and what we're allowing as a community, primarily with this creator, the exploitation of our community by fucking MAGA nonetheless. Like, adding insult to injury, these motherfuckers are MAGA. Gross all the way around. It's a case study. Absolutely. We also went through some newspaper clippings. That shit was fun. So the next update I'm hoping is a police report, y'all. Thanks for exposing her. I used to follow her and had no idea of all this, so thanks again. Hey, I'm curious. How many of you guys used to follow her? or do follow her? And how do you feel about her story in present day with what we've been able to uncover? And at what point did you unfollow, or at what point did you get interested in the real story? Used to, a lot of used to follow her. Did you follow? So I want to see, did you unfollow her recently? Did you unfollow her in 2023? What led you to unfollow her? What brought you to these lives? Because we've had a decent amount of people invested in this story consistently. I unfollowed a month ago, recently unfollowed. But I'm curious, what was it for you that was like, this is too much? What was it for you that said, oh no, let me take my follow back? I've also lost followers due to this. In fact, I dropped from 342,000 on Instagram to 341. So if you could please follow my Instagram, get me back up to 342, I'd love you for that. But no, I've dropped followers consistently. Anytime I talk about this, I drop followers because we share an audience. We share an FYP apparently. I unfollowed when I saw how big the house was going to be. I followed immediately. Unfollowed in 2023. She blocked me this year. I saw her true self after seeing about 2 or 3 videos. Video's true deportation story did it for me. The hate campaign. Her white privilege. Never followed her. Her having her house made from my tax dollars was a straw that broke the camel's back. Yeah. She made you out to be the villain, but after doing some digging, I realized she's the one targeting in your family. When she explained PETA's deportation story, I unfollowed in 2023. The DV last week. I just didn't like how she lied about her marriage. I unfollowed when she met up with Carlos because her videos are boring and her lying. Annie, how long have you want to know about her? So she actually reached out to me when I was getting started on TikTok in 2021. She reached out to me, sent me a message, and we became mutuals. That's how we crossed paths. My husband built a house in Puebla and he said the cementos were too much. Material's expensive. Yeah. I think you might have something in your eye. I don't feel like it. FYP. How'd you guys fall out? Oh, it's too long to summarize. What's a quick answer to that? How do we fall out? The first accountability video, we actually went through it on my last live, where it wasn't really an accountability video. It was just her downplaying the DV and continuing to lie. We were comparing the court records to her accountability video, and it was full of more lies and downplaying. What did she say when she reached out to me in 2021? I don't remember verbatim, but it was along the lines of, hey, offering support, reaching out to connect, just kind of networking and offering support as a family affected by deportation. I couldn't tell you exactly what she said, but it was something along those lines. I followed her back, and we became mutuals. It's similar to how she does now to all the small creators that she reaches out to, although they're predominantly men now. But she actively searches out creators in this niche that are just starting. She'll send them a message. They'll become mutuals. And a lot of us are kind of like, oh, wow, because she's this big creator. When she followed me, she had about 300,000 followers. I had like 40K, right? So she's this big creator that will reach out to smaller creators. And we're just kind of like, oh my gosh, she knows who I am, right? We become kind of wowed by her size of her platform, and that we become mutuals. And then she has us in her pocket. She is collecting Mexican creators in her pocket since 2021, trying to network with people in this community so that she can become a part of the community and not be looked at as taking up too much space being white. And that's how she's been able to take up all this space, is by befriending Mexican creators. And now she's a part of the community. and she's just been putting us in her pocket as she goes along. Some of us have remained in her pocket, some of us have not. And because she's surrounded by Mexican creators, it allows her to hide behind the identity of a deported spouse. So she's one of us, right? So what white privilege if she's surrounded by Mexican creators? It allows her to be that white savior as she's reaching out to smaller creators and offering help and telling families how to move here and do this. It's all part of her strategy to be that white savior among Mexican creators, Mexican nationals that have been affected by deportation. She's catching us like fucking Pokemon. Absolutely. Donated Tyler cement for people in her town to improve their homes. I gotta use the bathroom. Quick break, and I'll come back. Cause somebody keeps asking about this video, and I'm gonna segue into that real quick. Hello. Okay, we're back. I never understood her place as a white woman in Mexico. I can't believe she's gotten so much praise. Well, it's just really off of that. She's a white woman in Mexico, and that's why she's praised, because she's white and in Mexico. And we give them so much credit just for being in our space. You see what I'm saying? Just for being in our space and being white. People look to her as this, oh my gosh, she's doing so much. She's given up her entire life to be here among us. You see what I'm saying? I agree. She manipulates smaller new content creators. She recently sent a camera to Little Blue Farmhouse. I guess a course of a whole video was created on Candace's generosity. Tag me in that. That's how she gets us. Remember when she sent a crock pot to Carlos's brother? Tag me in that real quick. Let's study that. Let's study how she gets smaller creators into her pocket. And she has a very strategic way of doing so. She'll reach out to them. She'll befriend them. She'll gift them. And people are like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It's part of her strategy to get us into her pocket. And for people to be like, oh man, she does so much for us. Look at her sending this poor guy a crock pot. Look at her sending Little Blue Farmhouse a camera. Right? And mind you, these are peanuts in comparison to what she's taken for the community. When you guys hear that narrative that she does so much for her community, she helps smaller creators. She donates to the kindergarten. Ask yourself what she takes in return of those things that she's doing. How many thousands of dollars she's monetizing from this niche, from this community, and exploitation, and the lies that she makes to be able to take that money away. And from that, she gives a little bit back here and there, whether it's to this creator, to the kindergarten, so people can say she gives back. But what is she taking in return? There's always a return for her, always. Whether it's for her image, whether it's for her brand, whether it's for her house, there's always a return on absolutely everything that she does, even with those small creators. Because then she puts them in her pocket into her community. So when people start talking shit about her, they'll be like, not Candace. Candace helped me. She sent me a crock pot. When I was new, she reached out to me and gave me guidance. It's part of her white savior. It's what she's doing. So she puts them in her pocket. She befriends them. Why do you think it was so important for her to befriend the creators that I was working with last year? She needed them in her pocket too. She needs all of them in her pocket. Why do you think she puts so much time into befriending creators? Let me tell you something. I don't have time for that shit. You don't really see me engaging in comment sections, reaching out, texting people back, because I don't have time. Ask yourself why such a huge creator spends such a considerable amount of time trying to network with smaller creators. What's the return for her? And I promise you it's not community. It's not giving back. There's something in it for her, something in it for her brand. Think about the Thanksgiving hosting that she did. And that news article, who was spotlighted? Her and her family. And the rest of the creators were just props. You know, the brown creators that were there were some there that were deported. They never got no airtime. Who was highlighted in that interview, in that little get together? Candace. Whose brand and image did it help? Candace's, not anybody else's. They were props. Because imagine if it was just her, then how could she justify taking up so much space in these interviews? How could she justify taking up so much space in this niche if she doesn't have Mexican friends? It's kind of like, I'm not racist. I married a black guy. I'm not exploiting. I have Mexican friends. I don't have white privilege. Look, I'm living among the Mexicans. They work for me. They have dinner with me. See where this is going? It's strategic. They were seat fillers. And maybe some of those donations are tax write-offs. We don't know how her banking is set up. We don't know what she does. So are those donations actually donations, or is there a bigger return for her? Okay, everything she does has a return for her, and it's always bigger than what she's giving, always. So every time people have said to me, she does so much, she donates this, that's peanuts in comparison to what she's taken from this community on the basis of lies. Through this series, we've broken down the multiple times she has lied directly to her audience. The same people she's monetizing from is the people she's lying to. Big things to little things. The criminal record, he doesn't have a lifetime ban, my house is not the biggest house in the block. All those little lies that we've pieced together little by little should give you a bigger picture of what she's done with this community. The same people she calls her supporters and that are helping her by donating, Cash App, Venmos, monetizing, following her YouTube channel, gifting her. Those are the people she's lying to. Think about that. Because she doesn't think you guys are smart enough to put it together. And thus far, she's been successful. None of you questioned it. None of you questioned it. They took her word for it. And look how far she got off of all those lies. Y'all should be kind of, honestly, what's the word? Offended. Her audience should be offended, but they're too... That white privilege is so fucking bright, that should be blinding like the sun. They refuse to acknowledge it because then they would have to acknowledge that she played them. Nobody wants to acknowledge that they were played for a fool. She's doing way more damage to the community than she will ever help. I'm sorry, but those measly donations that she makes to a little animal shelter that's somebody's house, that, mind you, there's questions about that too, because allegedly she's been donating for years and the animal shelter looks the same. With the amount of thousands of dollars that she has donated over the years, that animal shelter should be as big as her fucking house. Should be a state-of-the-art facility at the very least. Right? I don't think she's actually donating what she tells you guys she's donating. The school she donates to, remind you, her child goes there. So there's a benefit for her to donate. The same way that I volunteered to be an English teacher for my daughter's school. Why? Because if my daughter was going there, is it really community service if I'm there because it's a benefit to my daughter, am I really giving so much back to that school that I was an English teacher for over a year when I'm teaching English in my daughter's class? It's for my daughter. No, there's an interest for me there. It's not just an honest donation that I'm trying to do community service. There's a return for me. So donations don't have returns. So this idea that she's successfully conditioned her audience to repeat on her name that she does so much for the community. She does so much for the community. These gifts that she sends little content creators so that when people see them talking shit about her in the comment section, they're going to go back for her. But Candace is peace, and look at Carlos. Look at Carlos. She spotlighted Carlos on her platform in exchange for him swinging for her everywhere he goes. She boosted his YouTube channel. When he started, nobody was going to follow that shit, okay? He went all the way to Puebla with his whole family to collab. She shouts him out and his platform takes off. The majority of his followers are Candace's fans. And now look at him. Now there's a loyalty for her. And all these videos about her, she's getting exposed. He's out here batting for her. She just put him in her pocket with that collab. She puts these smaller creators in her pocket with these little things that she does for them. And then think about her moral clause agreement that she had him sign. If you see any defamatory content, you have 48 hours to tell me. Why do you think that's a thing there? Because then we're going to strategize as a team how to counter it. I'm going to deploy you to clear this up. That's exactly what Carlos is doing right now. Hey, drop the tag. Where? Did we get a video on... Let me see if I can search for it. Just because she donates crayons and notebooks to the kindergarten is not that big of a deal. Okay, let me search for the little farmhouse. What was it called? Little blue farmhouse? Is that the right name, by the way? Oh, yeah. Let's look at this. Here we go. Let's do a quick case study on how Candace gets other Mexican creators in her pocket.
El Nescafé.
So this was 2 months ago. La Güerita 70 sent them a gift.
Mi canal, ando muy sudada, que andaba haciendo que hacer y acabo de limpiar toda mi casa. Ya hice de comer, hice una sopita de fideo y unas quesadillas para comer el día de hoy, pero recibimos un regalo muy especial. Acaba de llegar a Amazon. Muchísimas gracias, Candace, La Güerita 70, por si alguien no la sigue, vayan y vean su contenido. Es una de las mejores, una de las personas que veo todos los días. La verdad estamos muy agradecidas por la comunidad que tenemos aquí en nuestra página de YouTube. Muchísimas gracias por todo el apoyo que nos da.
Let's get
Wow! It's a digital camera. Oh no, it's just camera.
Oops. Okay, so enough, right? She gives them a camera for their YouTube channel. Very small creator, 3,000 followers on YouTube. Same strategy she did with Carlos's brother. She gifted him some kind of fucking crock pot, remember? So these little gifts, it's part of her marketing to get her brand out there. Like, oh my gosh, look at this small creator. You know, she went out of her way to send us a camera so we could vlog and blah, blah, blah. You see what I'm saying? And then Carlos's brother, oh, look, she sent me. So every single one of these creators is doing unboxing vlogs of, look at what Güerita sent me. Oh my gosh, she's the best, blah, blah, blah. What does that do for her brand? Ask yourselves, why does she do this? What does that do for her brand? Oh, she does so much for her community. She's so helpful. But what is she doing behind the scenes? Lying to these creators, lying to this community, lying to the fan base. But she smoke screens it with this type of shit. Oh, but she donates so much. She does so much for us. Yeah. Yeah. Investments. One of the NDA clause probably says you have to make a video, right? I wouldn't be surprised if in these little collabs, make a video and shout me out and tag me. Yeah. But hey, let's give credit where credit is due. For once, she reaches out to a female. Did she take our advice? Well, how long ago was this? 2 months. When did we start putting her on blast for only reaching out to male creators? Let's look at this. Hold on. Let me not give too much credit yet. When did I first call her out for this shit? For only collabing with males. And then all of a sudden we have a small female creator gifted a fucking camera. Let me look. Olga's post. Did I talk about this in October? This was in February. Oh, yes. All right. So February 19th. Okay. I called her out. Why doesn't she work with Phil? Why doesn't Abuelita 70 collab with wives of deportees? Right. So this is when we were on to her. Hold on. Oh, she beat us. This was posted January 20th. I swear I mentioned this in October. Hold on. There's a reason she's reaching out to female creators. I put her on blast in October. I would need to go through all my videos and see if I mentioned why she only collabs with males. We're not ready to address this yet. Hold on that. Have you seen the channel La Mamá de los Güeros? Yeah. We saw her shout her out in one of the news articles today. She was there during the Thanksgiving collab with the news station with CNN, and she spotlighted her as well, La Mamá de los Güeros. And we talked about why is all the branding of these channels so focused on colorism. Yeah. But there was no widows. Oh. We said it since October, since Rafa came out, right? I'm pretty certain I mentioned it in October of last year that she only reaches out to the males. And that was in October. And then in January, she's reaching out to small female creators. I'd have to go back on all my videos to clip the exact part where I called her out for this. But she started getting exposed in October. From the PPP loans. Yeah. Life after deportation. And then I started again in February. The Rafa series. Trailer House. No thank you, bestie. No thank you. One thing about white privileged women is they gonna stick together. A lot of you have sent me screenshots and screen recordings and do we expect anything else from one white woman to be batting for another white woman getting called out for white privilege? The reason why white privilege exists is because women like that refuse to acknowledge it. So we're not going to spend any time on another white privileged creator trying to exploit the same community coming to defend another white savior, because that's all that is. There's some people want my attention so bad, and I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to have a little bit more. All right, I feel like we should wrap up. We're going on almost 4 hours. We said we weren't gonna we're not supposed to go over 2. We're not supposed to go over 2 hours, but the tea was good. Class in session, we were able to establish a lot of facts. Good for us. We got a bunch of new subscribers. Really quick before we close, thank you to all of you that have joined my YouTube memberships. There is a link at the bottom of the chat in my YouTube if you want to join my memberships. There's a $2.99 tier and a $9.99 tier. I am hosting a giveaway tomorrow for the $9.99 tier for a set of Starbucks tumblers. If you join today or if you upgrade your tier today, you will be eligible for tomorrow's giveaway. Thank you to all of you that joined. Let me briefly explain the perks for the memberships. It gives you access to all my live replays, member-only content, badges, stickers, monthly giveaways, and member-exclusive content. And I think that's a wrap. I don't know. We've had such a successful stream today. Shout out to all of you watching. Crazy. If you ask me, why are we still talking about this? Because the numbers are numbering. That we're invested. We got to get to the bottom of this. I really hope that we hear back from the police department this week. And I think that would be our grand finale. Based on the way that we've obtained all the receipts, I feel like the police report is that last piece that we're needing. That last piece. Is Olga next? Listen, Olga wants the beef so bad. Let's talk about Olga real quick, okay? I don't know. I suspect that it's part of their tag teaming. Okay, one thing about these people is they're always going to need to tag team me, always. I find it very interesting that Olga would decide to come back to content on the foot of rehashing all this drama from last year. Like we didn't already see her side of the story, right? Yeah, I saw her video and she made it seem like, when am I going to tell my side? Bitch, we saw you tell your side when you were crashing out on live, which is why I had to come out and clear the room. Olga really made it seem like she hasn't shared her part. We saw her part. We heard her part. We heard her mom's part. We've already hashed all of this out. So I can only assume that she needs some views too, which is why she wants to jump into the middle of this. And I don't know, let's do this. I was kind of on the fence about who I wanted to be episode 3. At the timing this is going, she might be it. I will also say, I think I have not kept up with her case. I have no idea for where the fuck her kids are. I stopped following it. I don't care where her kids are. I will just say, if they are actually out of state custody, I think it's diabolical for their abuser to be celebrating that they're out of state custody, but skipping over the fact of why they were in state custody. And we're not going to answer any questions about why they're out of state custody, but give me a round of applause that they're finally out. We're going to skip over the fact that both her kids spent their birthdays in there. And exactly what I said would happen is what happened. They were in there for fucking months. Did I not say this is that they would? Why do you think I was so panicked when this happened? And everybody told me I was just doing it for this. I was just doing it for that. I knew from the moment those kids got picked up, they would be in there for fucking months. She said 10 days. We got it under control. Blah, blah, blah. I fucking called it. So if anything, this should be a very much, Annie was right. It took that bitch months to get her kids out. Months. So we want to celebrate that they're out, but we're not going to address why they were in there. We're not going to answer questions about why they were in there. Oh, okay. We're going to celebrate with the child abuser that her kids are not out of state custody. Oh, okay. Miss me with that shit. So again, if she wanted to come on here and rebrand, she had every opportunity to do so. Come back quietly and make content. But she comes back and opens the door to go right back into last year's bullshit. Have people asking questions. My name's getting dropped everywhere. Replying to stories with my full name. Yes, I have a problem with her. What fucking problem could you have with me? Why is it my fault you're where you're at? The fuck do I gotta do with your fucking mess? All I did was try to help this bitch, okay? The reason she's got a problem with me is because I'm the only person that held her accountable. Only one. People like that will always have a problem with me. People like Jimmy have a problem with me. People like my baby daddy, they won't have a problem with me because Annie is the only one that didn't fucking baby her. That's really it. That's the problem she has with me. If she wants to talk about, I had a bitch that was during my hardest times, you were on here during your hardest time telling everybody what happened. You was lying. So people that were there had to come out and clear our names. That's what happened. So if we want to go back down this route and rehash out, by all means, let's make those phone calls with her mama public. Because as of now, only my members have listened to them. let's make everything public. Let me go on a deep dive. You know, I'm not against it. It's a little time consuming, but I just think it's interesting that she would have the chance to rebrand. It's been months. Let's move on. Right? Let's move on. Let's come on here and make some cheese videos. My kids are good. Let's do this. But coming on here and trying to rebrand, well, actually not rebranding, and just taking shit back to last year, like, okay, I'm ready to talk about it now that my kids are out, because now you can't judge me for them being in there, is crazy. And we heard her side of the story. Her side of the story is what made the rest of us have to come out and clear what the actual side of the story was. You see what I'm saying? So it's very much giving this pattern I've seen where they know they're next, so let me come out and put out my version of events before I'm on the chopping block for being a fucking scammer, because she's one of them too, and she scammed me personally. Okay, she scammed all of us out of close to $8,000. Yeah, there's a lot of court records to go through there. There's a lot of CPS records to go through there. She fooled us all too. Okay, so it's very much giving, let me come out and tell my side of the story before somebody else tells my story for me. That's what it's giving. And I'll say what I said before. I know a bitch that lost custody of her kids in 2 fucking states ain't got shit to say to me. That bitch was more worried about fighting with Annie on TikTok than she was worried about fighting to get her kids out of state custody. Yeah, riddle me that one. And then Jelly. I saw Jelly's video, and I'm sorry, but she clocked her so hard on her video. Yeah. Again, if I was Olga, I would just come on here. Okay, it's been 7-8 months. Let me try to rebrand with some other shit. If I want to pick back, let me go back into content creating and try to make my art, because people forgot. People ate up her shit. We're not going to talk about it. It's okay. But to come on here and open up that door again is diabolical. Diabolical, knowing there's people that were there. There's receipts that are there. So my only logical explanation for this is we need some views. And we need to jump on here and we need to take the heat off of Candace. That's what I see happening. Keep going. I'm almost finished washing my dishes. 2 countries, mind you. 2 countries. She lost custody of her kids. 2 countries. Yeah. Yeah. What problem could you possibly have with me? Oh, that's right. I didn't kiss your ass, and I didn't baby you when you had a mental breakdown. When that mental breakdown is actually you abused your children. People that abuse children could all cite that they had mental breakdowns. Okay? Do you give them a pass because they had a mental breakdown? We had a lapse in judgment? I'm pretty sure every child abuser could say the same thing. I had a mental breakdown. We could chalk it up to a mental breakdown. Are you shitting me for real right now? So if I beat the shit out of my kids, I could just get on here and say I had a mental breakdown? My bad. My bad. Please be so for real. Like, y'all want to be dragging me down the street. That's awful that we have justified what happened to these kids because a mental breakdown. No, this bitch went out, got drunk, got fucked up, got fucked, took some drugs, went home, took it on her kids, and then chopped her hair off because she couldn't figure out how to take out her extensions, and then called it a mental breakdown. Call it what it is. Call it what it is. And I know. Let me stop. Jelly's posting her side. All right, let me go look. I saw Jelly posting some stuff. Yeah, maybe we might not even have to go too deep into it, because Jelly might be taking the lead on this storytelling. Yeah, if it was a man, it would be a different story. If it was anybody else, it would be a different story. But the fact that she was up against Annie is what made it okay. If anybody else had called her out, this would not have been the end result that it was. Anything but siding with Annie. I'm a co-sign everything. Domestic violence, child abuse, everything and anything, as long as it's anti-Annie. That's what it came down to. We've been live almost 4 hours, bestie. Yeah, we said 2-hour limit, but the cheese meal was so good. We are committed. Yeah. That video of her should tell you everything you need to know about accountability. If she's done any work within the last 7-8 months, the answer is no. If she's done any work she would have came on back onto the internet talking about somebody, I was going through the worst time of my life and a mental breakdown. It would have been, I fucked up royally. I took advantage. Here we are now, but let's do better. Yeah, that video should tell you everything you need to know about any possible accountability. It's not there. They would have ripped you apart hard. Yeah, imagine me. Let me go out, get fucked up, take some drugs, take some drinks, leave my kids home till 4 a.m, go get fucked, come home, beat the shit out of them, and then tell you I had a mental breakdown. Oh, would that be cool? Would y'all just sideswipe me the same and be like, oh, Annie's having a hard time. Annie's having a hard time. Yeah, be so for real. As soon as I saw her comment, I knew she fucked up. Again, her idea, I don't know whose idea that was for her to come back on here after months of avoiding the crowd and then open the door to, oh, maybe I'll tell my side of the story. Bitch, we heard it. We heard your side. We heard your mama's side. We heard the kid's side. We heard everybody's side. Is there a necessity to go back and to rehash everything? No. But we will. And I did have the idea to make her episode 3 because her story is another one. Her story is a perfect example of the way she grifted her way all the way to PV. Scamming the hell out of people, including me. I donated to her cause personally. Hundreds of dollars. Time, resources, personal connections. On the basis that she was this poor single mom, deported, wanting to do better, a hustler, this and that. She never told us about her criminal convictions either. Which, mind you, I wouldn't have looked at her any different. I would have looked at her different if I knew she was not actually a mom that was on top of her shit. Pues según ella cree ser que no están en el DIF. ¿Quién sabe? One thing we can say is that those kids spent months in a Mexican orphanage because of her. So why would we clap for her that they're out? Hopefully if they are. We're just going to forget about why they were in there. Oh, okay. Why I was really disappointed in Mike. Look, you guys, Mike is so neutral. Mike is everybody's friend. Mike is... You got to know Mike to understand him. Right? I respect him. He is friends with everybody regardless. He doesn't have... He's so just Switzerland when it comes to everything and anything. He's supportive to everybody. You'll see him showing love to everybody through their comment sections, through their lives. Mike, he's just neutral. And he's a good example of what neutral looks like. You can be friends with this person. You can be friends with that person. Having beef with somebody doesn't mean you have to cut somebody else off. Right? Candace could take a lesson or two from Mike. You could be friends with everybody. You don't have to beef with everybody. Mike is a perfect example of this isn't high school. If you want to be friends with so-and-so, even though I have beef with so-and-so, cool, we could all be cool together. You know? Yes, I'm sure he's up on the cheeseman. He keeps up with who's beefing with who, but when it really comes down to it, he's just neutral. That's why you'll see him supporting everybody. And I respect that about him. And, you know, people are free to make with that information what they want. Personally, I think Mike is a sweetheart. He's a great friend. He reaches out to everybody, and I see him constantly hyping up everybody. You know, I'm not going to tell nobody, well, if you talk to this person, no, I don't fuck with you, know. But it lets you know where certain people's morals are or aren't, and if they align with yours or they don't. But you have the information, so you can make informed decisions on who you want to fuck with, you know? And that's really it. It's not okay to be neutral in violence or child abuse. Yeah, well, look at Juanita's fan base. None of them take a stance against domestic violence. None of them. So I think just being able to make decisions, right? Well, this person aligns with this. I don't align with that, so I'm going to make my decisions off of that. But I'm not here to tell nobody, well, if you are fuck with this person, I can't, like, it's childish. We're all adults and people have a right to be neutral. That's why when I look back to the trajectory of this and the actions certain people took, there was no necessity. Like, y'all could have stayed neutral, just like Mike. You know? Where did you get that orange 2-piece? TikTok shop. So I've actually linked it on my main account. If you go to my main account, I made a video with it and it's linked there. So you could buy it. I got it last year and it's super cute. Got a lot of love. And I ordered another color. Anyway, guys, we are so past our time limit. So very past. I'm going to end this live. I have to start bookmarking. I got to make my thumbnail. Ugh. These lives are so much fun, but they're truly a lot of work. Wait, weren't they mad at you for talking to your BD again? Yep. The same people that try to cancel me for getting back with my BD are the same people that clap for Candace's story. Yeah. I missed the whole thing. It'll be available for replay on my YouTube channel. So if you need something to listen to while you wash the dishes, do your chores, cook dinner, head over to my YouTube channel. It's a 4-hour live. But it was fun. We covered a lot of stuff. We had a lot of new members. What's the rest of my patron? We're going to do a patron call tonight at 9:30. You won't see me live until tomorrow. So enjoy the 4 hours. So you guys have a lot of material to catch up on. I don't want to give you another live because then you won't be able to catch up in time. So I'll catch you guys live tomorrow, maybe around the same time. Don't stress if you miss it. I'll have it available for replay on my YouTube channel. As far as tonight, I need to work on, I'm going to drop another wheel. We're going to drop a post for the baddies and announce our call at 9:30 for patron. Okay? So thanks for coming to my Tech Talk. YouTube, we are out. Stop.